Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show today. Very happy to have you here. Hopefully, you all had yourselves a good weekend. Mine was really quiet. I just worked on The Sims. Although my wife did finally perfect her queso. hmm Addictive.
Oh,
Very nice.
oh.
But we do work on dishes. Well, mainly she works on dishes, and I give opinion. hmm
Hmm.
And once it gets to where she thinks it's perfected, she puts it in her little recipe diary. Very nice. But yeah, I like me a queso that has a lot of tomato in it. The one she made was super addictive. It's really good, but it needs a lot more spice. But she's tender.
Which is odd because the Asians typically like the spicy food. I've
Well,
noticed they
not the
spice things up.
Japanese. The Japanese
Ah,
don't conform to conformity here in Asia, and mainly
yeah,
it's because they're not Asian. Shh, don't tell them. But
yep.
all their cultures coming out of really ancient stuff that's not Asian, and they
Hmm.
just it's interesting, because you can see they look Asian, right?
Yep.
But they have so much of that DNA and that culture in them of what we would call Russian today, right? Or Slavic. That it's interesting how pervasive it is. It really
Hmm.
is, because those things just last. It's like you see all these little mulatto kids running around, right?
Hmm.
And they're probably 99.9% European, but boy, they just those black African genetics just stick, man. They're strong. They're
They're like
strong,
glue.
like glue. Well, it just shows you that their genes are quite dominant, and the white people's genes are recessive. Yeah,
Hmm.
it just is what it is.
We get
What?
it, Chester. We're rare, unique, special unicorn creatures.
Oh, is that what I was
Understand?
getting at? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was more worrying that how easily it would be to wipe us out, really.
Well, I mean that's what they're working on. Let's be honest. I
Yeah.
don't know why people pretend that's not the case. You can look around the world and see the only countries that are constantly flooded with people of the other race are all the white countries.
True.
That's weird.
Well, because the other countries aren't that stupid. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Yeah,
wouldn't
white people
stand
are
for
dumb.
it. That's true.
We might actually
We
be
are dumb.
here as a species watching a race of the species, basically, let's be honest, a subspecies of the species,
Yeah, us. Yeah.
choose extinction
Yeah.
because it just doesn't want to be mean. That's
Yep.
the only reason.
Yep.
We've decided we'd rather die than
Yep.
be mean.
Makes sense though. Makes sense. Everybody
Yeah.
get on board. Okay. Well, I'm going to like and share here and let everybody know we're on. I already see we got a bunch. Oh, I got to log into you too, huh? All right, fine. All right. All right.
Maybe the Asians will do better with it once we leave because they'll be the only ones with any kind of IQ left. So maybe they'll figure it out once
Well,
once old Whitey's gone.
don't get too excited
Probably not
about that
though.
IQ. All right. Uh, yeah. No. The problem is with humanity. Sure, our IQ varies from anywhere around 80 to 110 on average, and there is a
Yeah.
difference between the two, of course. But the simple fact of the matter is, it's yeah, the humans are dumb. Uh,
Humans suck. We're the
yeah,
worst.
we're
I was
just a mess.
I was telling a buddy the other day uh, that the average intelligence, well, what used to be the average intelligence, is lower now, but let's say 100. We'll just
Yeah,
be nice and say that's the average intelligence.
yeah.
The distance between a person with mental retardation, an actual retard, and that person is less than the distance between me and an average intelligent person because I have 140 IQ or just about. So to me, most average intelligence people, they operate very close to how retards operate. I don't understand how their brains function at all.
hmm
If it wasn't for the fact that their lizard brain was so exceptional at keeping them alive, I genuinely think they would all be dead.
Oh, the lizard brain's
If
got it
they're
going on.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah,
It's
that
got it
lizard
going on.
brain's badass.
Yeah,
He
it
kicks
is.
ass.
Yeah, it is.
Um, because it's just shocking to me to watch these people who are typically they're decent people. I actually can get along really well with them, but their decision making is abysmal.
Oh yeah.
And they walk themselves continuously into the same problem and then rationalize away why they did it instead of just understanding that they're their own problem.
Oh yeah,
And it's
no,
all
no one.
over.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah,
And
no.
I told him, I'm like, he goes, well, why don't you, you're a really smart guy. You could probably do something really great with that intelligence. I'm like, because humanity just simply doesn't deserve it. We don't deserve it. We deserve a dark valley for a while. The reason why the Renaissance happened is we went into this dark valley. The whole world kind of did all at once, where everybody was just kind of garbage. There was just a whole bunch of garbage people with garbage motivations doing garbage things, and we got what we deserved. And then eventually, people got a little better, and then a little bit better. And then as people started to get a little bit better, they got a little smarter. And then as they got a little smarter, they decided, hey, maybe we don't need to call these people Lord. Maybe we don't need that in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had wars and went all over the world and did things. But my point is, I genuinely believe in the universe people get what they deserve more often than not. Not always, but more often than not. And I think as a rule for societies, it's true as well. When a society has when the people in a society are good, decent, hardworking, who do the work and put the truth before anything else, that society always succeeds, always, without fail. It does. There's never been an example where the people do all the right things and things just fail anyway, as a group, as a block. That doesn't happen. What happens is you might have some bumps in the road. You're gonna have some hard times where things happen that are outside of your control. But if you persevere as a people, you will overcome them. This is regardless of race. It's regardless even of intelligence, to be honest. It's just do the work that needs to be done. And that's what built America. That's what built the modern world, was that Protestant, like you said, Protestant work ethic. And that entire philosophy is what makes a people good and righteous. Now, obviously, the puritanical stuff went way too far, but it forged the greatest country in the history of the world. And the fact that so many people want to so many people want to pretend like that isn't what made it is laughable to me. Like it was just an oops-a-doodle. We just oops-a-doodled into being the world's superpower in 150 years after our existence. That was just an oopsie. No, it wasn't an oopsie. It was a whole bunch of really, really good people who deserved it, people who went out and did things that no one else wanted to do for the betterment of people around them, and they pulled everything up with them. And the fact of the matter is, right now, we're living in a time where humanity, I think, is incapable of that as a group. I truly do. I think we are surrounded by pure, selfish, evil people at all times who have not even a desire to be good. They don't even have a desire to desire the knowledge it takes to get on that path. The discipline, the knowledge, all of it. Everybody wants everything easy. They want it cheap. Everybody's a glutton for something. It's disgusting. The human race has become disgusting to me. I don't like them, and at this point, I'm almost with the globalists. You're like, you know what? Take them out. We earned it.
Well, Dave wants.
You can't say it.
So
Nope.
But I'm glad you got that off your chest. Sounds like you've been holding.
I feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Humanity. Listen, we had a good run. We did some pretty cool things. We had Leonardo and all the Ninja Turtle guys in there. They did cool things.
Yeah.
We had Ninja Turtles. That was cool.
That was cool.
But other than that, I think we've just outlived our usefulness. We gave the planet plastic. That's what I think it wanted, and now it's just done with us. It's just going to shuffle us off like it did the dinosaurs and move on, and that's fine.
I didn't really watch the Turtles much. I was mainly focused on Megan Fox's ass.
I don't mean that Turtles. I mean the real Turtles.
Okay. No, fair. Okay. I am writing down the universe is conscious. That's good. I got that.
Yeah.
So that's excellent.
We do know fairly well now, we have it documented that the universe responds to consciousness. We can see that. We can observe that it observes our observation, which is very weird.
It might well be that is what God is.
Yep. I agree with you.
Possibly. Anyway, let's see. We got a Lady Celtic Move. She says, "Howdy, y'all. Roger is strong and angelic, strong and goofy. I don't understand what that means. Well, exclamation marks. And he is saying something. Dave said, I had a meatball sandwich made with leftover homemade meatballs from late last week. Dude, that sounds good. Did you put Parmesan on it? You should. And you should use the real Parmesan too.
Yeah.
Lady says, the eye surgeon went well. Good to hear.
She
Until
can
blood
see.
pressure went up, and the pusher cup was halfway down my arm. Okay, that's not the pressure cup, I guess is what you meant. That's not
Yeah.
good. That's all right. It's all right, lady.
It, it'll settle.
It'll settle. Um, Dave gives us a pro tip. He says, if you slice the meatball in half, they won't roll out of the roll. Yeah, that well. Yeah, okay. Okay. Roger says, that's awesome to hear, pretty lady. Got to keep those pretty eyes of yours in perfect condition. Wouldn't you agree? 100%. Oh, Roger. Let's see. 30 days, of course. Dave is praying for the comment.
Do
Uh,
you know the shopping cart theory? Dave would like to know.
do I know the shopping cart theory? Uh,
Yes.
no. Do elucidate me.
So I'll put it very simple. Basically, the basic premise is if you are incapable as a human being to take your shopping cart and put it in the cart corral, as they're called in America, the
Standard
place where the
practice.
carts go,
Yeah.
if you're incapable of this function, society as a whole is beyond you. You are a barbarian and a
Uh-huh.
savage,
Uh-huh.
and society will become barbaric and savage if people like you are the majority.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in America, people like that seem to be the majority because these carts are fucking everywhere,
Well,
and it drives me nuts.
they always were. I mean, there's always,
Ugh.
there's just that, it's just that element in society that doesn't give a shit about anybody but themselves. It's just the way
If
it is.
you put your cart back, you are capable of living in a free society. Is
Yeah,
the premise?
sure.
Because in order to live in a free society, you have to be a responsible person. And if you can't do something as basic as walk 10 feet to slide a cart into a little metal thing, then you deserve slavery. You deserve it. Not that you're gonna have it. You might not. Maybe you'll get lucky and the people around you are better than you, but you deserve it because you are incapable of basic responsibility.
Mhm.
So somebody stronger and more powerful than you, in my opinion, should have the ability to just enslave you. And that's what they're going to do anyway because you can't stop them. You don't have the faculties to do it. Uh, this is it's interesting because it's kind of it's a play on was it Madison? I think it was Madison who said that the Constitution was written for a good and moral people. It will not suffice for anyone else. Constitution of America,
Yeah.
and that's correct.
Well, that
Or no,
is
he said a
true. Yeah.
Christian and moral people, and it will not suffice for anyone else. Because you freedom only the I truly believe this. Only the righteous can be free. Only people who do what is right, regardless of what it costs them personally, even in sick circumstances where largely it doesn't matter if you don't put your shopping cart back, but it's the right thing to do to make everybody else around you's life a little bit easier. Um, those are the people who are capable of living in a free world. Everybody else is not.
Well,
They're not.
let's check your theory. I just went and
Uh
looked for E-News Online, the best
Let's
place
see
to
what we got.
check this theory. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Harry Styles spotted with Olivia tattoo after Olivia Wilde breakup. Oh, oh.
Oh
Well,
Lord.
Harry, if you stop wearing the dresses, you might be able to keep yourself a girl. Okay.
That's
Uh,
true.
maybe. Cardi B throws a microphone at an audience member who tossed drink at her. Well, you're both bad.
Yeah.
Madonna pens sweet tribute to her kids after hospitalization. Is she gonna die? Please.
Oh, oh, that
Okay.
would that just be a shame if whatever
Mm,
that creature's become just didn't exist.
yeah. Let's see here on the other
Jeez.
side. Marilee Nichols shares. I don't no clue who you are. Shares new pic with her Tristan Thompson's son. Well, okay. Her and okay, fine. Pregnant Sean Johnson. Sean, the guy, is pregnant. is open to having more kids with one cat. Oh, don't care. Paul Nassif details what caused demise of marriage to Adrian Maloff. Well, stop marrying dudes. That would help. Uh, uh,
That would help. Yeah.
that would help.
Mhm.
Kylie Jenner shares sweet photo of son Air. Is it a sweet photo? Let's see how sweet and cute her little kid is. Let's see. Let's see this
Wait,
sweet.
his name's Air,
His name's
like
Air.
Air,
Yeah. Aw, baby's holding hands.
or was she trying to be clever and
What
it's
in the
supposed to
hell
be?
is that thing?
That's her mom.
Jesus, dude. What is wrong with you
That is
people? You're way too
living
young for
plastic.
plastic surgery, baby doll. What are you doing?
Living plastic is what
What
that is.
is this person? What is this? This
A
woman's
fake face.
ancient, dude. That's got to be grandma. That's
Uh,
grandma. That
well,
is
yeah, that's her grandma. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because that's way too old to be having kids. That's man hands. Man hand phase. Yay! It's a baby. It doesn't look like, dude. You better check out whose baby that is because they ain't your baby.
That's a pretty light skinned baby.
This one's a little bit more mulatto.
Oh, what a cute
Okay.
little girl.
Yeah, I don't think that's your baby, buddy. I don't think that's your baby. Uh-oh. Oh, what did you do to yourself, woman? You're
Yeah,
so
yeah,
young and you're cutting yourself up. Oh, you idiot. So
yeah.
this is
That's where
this
we're at.
one's kid. So she definitely this one's a black daddy for sure. This one right here ain't no black daddy. Uh-oh.
Listen,
Uh-oh.
this
Well,
family ruined an entire generation of young women.
I think so. But I mean, happy baby pictures though. I'm good with that. Like father, dude, that ain't your baby. That ain't your baby, dude. That this is some
Don't.
white dude's baby because these people are Armenian. Oh,
That's
dude,
right. They're already dark.
I
Yeah.
feel bad for you, man. I feel bad for you. I do. I
Either
do.
that
But the
or
hat
he's
though.
exactly
The
what you
hat
were
though.
just talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hat's something.
Yeah.
He's like almost entirely European, but that black jeans wouldn't let go. Maybe that's what happened.
No, that dude's not that far along. He's probably about 60%. Anyway, this is dumb, but it's less dumb because babies are cute. I don't know who you
Yeah.
are, Dwayne Wade and Gabriel Union. I have no idea who you are. I have no clue
Dwayne
who
Wade
you
was a
are
basketball player.
whatsoever. Oh, I don't watch basketball. Let's see. What am I doing? Give me something. Don't know who you are. Don't know who you are. Don't know what you are. Okay. Let's see here. I don't know what you are, but I doubt it's entertaining. Okay. Simu Liu. Oh, you're
Look at
just
him.
so sexy, boy.
At least he's getting a little bit of muscle on him. I'll give him that.
Well, he's a Hollywood dude. It's kind of your job. What the hell are
It
these
is
women
his
doing
job.
to their faces, lady?
I'm telling you, dude, they're not even human anymore. They look like alien creatures. I don't. I've never. I shouldn't say never, but there's very, very, very few cases I've seen where the women do these things to their face and they look better.
No,
I'm
they,
telling you,
you
it's like
know,
uncanny valley. You can tell, like, oh, what am I looking at here? That ain't human.
that
There's
ain't
a lot
good.
of what's going on.
Well, this one, the ugly, strange one, is upset that ex, her
Yep.
ex, is engaged to a younger, hotter chick. I get it. Well, maybe you shouldn't have made him your ex. Okay.
Just a thought.
Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick's unusual love story. Well, why aren't they Sarah Jessica Broderick? And why did
You
you
know
marry a horse
why?
face? Whatever. I have no idea who you people are. No idea who you are. No idea who you are. Not a single idea.
Hey, Ryan
I know who
Reynolds.
he is and who you dating now. Okay, so they can't get over 25. He's got a rule. Why are these people still in the news? They've never done anything useful. Um, let's see, Elon's
Because
ex-wife, which one? Okay.
yeah,
Uh,
pick one.
pick one. He's got like 9 kids. Um, who is little J? Don't care. Okay. Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater's marriage stood before what? What? Okay. Anyway, look at this just train wreck of these people. None of you notice that they're not pretty people? Have you noticed this?
It's very interesting that the meme is once again correct. I have literally, my wife and I both. have commented on this, and it's shocking. We live in the Midwest, yeah, Midwest America, not necessarily known for its beautiful people. Yet, when you go to just about any restaurant or fast food joint or whatever at the right time, you will have a cashier or whatever working there who is way better looking than anyone in Hollywood right now.
They're also
Like
ugly,
like
dude.
way better looking, Chester. I'm talking like I've seen nines working at McDonald's. And
Sure.
I'm like, what are you doing working at McDonald's? Why aren't you in Hollywood on my screen so I can look at you from a distance? Because if I look
From a
if I stare
distance.
at you up close, then I go to
Ah.
jail. But if you're on a screen, I can stare at you all day. You
I
see, that's the
guess.
rules.
I
Yeah,
suppose that is the rule. But yeah, no, I've noticed this that they're getting weird and alien like, and they're not very attractive. And people, of course, have been making this comment here for quite a while. Let's see. Alan says, "Whoa, Black Daddy, Rambalam. Whoa, Black Daddy, Rambalam. Black Daddy had a child,
oh,
Rambalam. Oh, Black Daddy." That's a good song. Yeah, it is.
yeah,
Good job, Alan.
yeah.
That was a quick reference.
Did you
Ram a
see the
jam.
news though?
Yeah,
In the science world, you're kind of in there a little bit.
yeah, me,
Uh,
yeah.
in the physics world specifically,
My
we
hobby.
might we might actually have a affordable room temperature, room pressure superconductor. If
Yeah, but
that is real, that is literally a world-changing technology.
that is more than that. That's
Yeah,
generational.
yeah.
But
It's like fertilizer level, is what
but
I'm saying. Like
yeah, no,
that's a big deal.
it's free energy is what it is. But
Yes.
there's a huge problem with that. It's
Yeah,
coming out of South Korea.
that's true. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
first thing I saw. It's like, ah, they're lying.
Yeah. See, there's a difference. Asians lie a lot. And it's
Yeah.
not just the non-Japanese. We have it happen here too. It shocks the Japanese. It creates big scandal, but it happens. The problem with it is that you can't trust what comes out of Asia until they put it in front of you piece by piece. In the
Yeah.
West, it's very different. Not saying they're more honest people, because they're not. But
No.
in the West, if you lie and it comes out, it's more than just simply the end of your career. It's the end
Mm.
of you, right?
Yeah.
The West takes that stuff, particularly with science, very seriously. Now, I know a lot of you screaming at me, they lie all the time. They do, but they do it in a different way. They lie by
Yep.
not saying shit.
Lies of omission. They don't
Omission.
outright say, "Hey, we can do this thing," and they can't do it.
No, they
It's
they
not a
can't. You
direct
can't
claim.
get away with it. That's one good thing that the
No.
West still has. But
In
here
fact,
in
a chick
Asia,
just went to jail for that exact thing because she
yeah,
committed massive fraud. They gave her all
mm,
kinds of money. Said I don't even remember what she said. She could do some crazy thing, and she couldn't.
yep,
And they said, "Well, you're going to jail, sweetheart. That's
yep,
fraud."
yeah. No, the West doesn't tolerate it at all. So that's a good thing. Here in Asia, we get lies constantly. So I'll wait. If that's real, put it in front of me, dude. Let me see
Yeah,
it.
that's that's the biggest deal since I probably fertilizer, honestly, because
Yeah,
people don't understand. We take it for granted, but fertilizer changed humanity, not just the
it
world,
did.
changed our entire species.
It did. Yeah.
The reason why Americans are so damn fat, fertilizer. That's why, because food's everywhere,
Well,
because fertilizer permits it to be.
I would say subsidized farming, but okay,
But the subsidized farming wouldn't even exist without the fertilizer.
that's fair.
Not at the
That's fair.
scale that it does,
That's fair.
because it just wouldn't. The money wouldn't be there.
Yeah, well, do keep in mind, Americans, we import a lot of food into our country from other places, but that doesn't mean America is incapable of sustaining itself. Matter of fact, America is well beyond capable of that. The reason why
Yes,
we import food from all over the world is strangely is because it's cheaper. Isn't
yes,
that
it's
weird?
cheaper than.
It's cheaper to ship shit in from all over the world than it is to just grow it ourselves.
Well, we import a lot of completed food, like the processed stuff, and then a lot
That's
of other
true.
stuff like that. But when it comes to base foods, I think we're still the world's leading exporter when it comes to meal and the stuff that they send over to other places to turn into the processed food.
Well, no,
Um,
we're not anymore. We're not.
oh
Yeah.
well,
Matter of
That's
fact, the
good.
American government burns tons and tons and tons of food every year.
Well, they're doing that on purpose. That's easy.
Yeah,
Again, back
because they
to
want to
humanity
keep the
doesn't
economy.
deserve it.
Well, the problem in
Uh,
America is, $15 an hour, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
$20 an hour. That's
For
the problem.
to go to a McDonald's and then pay $10 for one burger or a burger, maybe a meal if you're
Wow.
depending on what you get, and it be wrong and usually cold. So yeah, thanks guys. Glad you're getting paid $15 an hour. That helped
Yeah.
nobody. Didn't even
Well,
help you probably because
no,
money is not your problem. It's mismanaging money that was always your problem.
it's true. Well, I mean, here in Japan, it's still cheap, McDonald's, and of course, it's always hot and it's always right. And if it's not, they will bend over backwards to apologize and make it right. But then again, McDonald's in Japan are run actually like a business. Strange that.
There's ways around that here. Well, because McDonald's here isn't really a restaurant. It's a property company pretending to be a restaurant, but that's a different topic. Um, but it depends on what you get there. Because one of the things that they do around here anyway, I think they do it in the whole country, but I know they do it here, is if you get quarter pounders, they make those fresh every time. So those are usually at least nice and warm by the time they get to you, even if they're not fully
We
hot.
don't have
But
quarter
everything
pounders here.
else, well, that's again one of the reasons Americans are so damn fat is because food is everywhere and none of it's good for you. None of it. It's everywhere. We have all these. I drive by Chester all the time. Even in my city, there's cornfields. We got cornfields
Yeah.
everywhere. Just corn. It's
Well,
straight up. Nothing bad with corn. Corn's okay. You can eat corn.
yeah, but
Yet
it would be nice to
all
have
you can
other
go
stuff.
is get
Yeah.
junk. Well,
Yeah,
we have
but
more than corn
the
too.
the
But yeah.
well, the problem is the American government subsidizes only corn, and that's why there's so
Yep.
much of it, and they can sell it cheaply, and that's why the corn syrup is in all of your shit. Now you can go
Yep.
deeper into conspiracy theory if you like, but I mean the easy solution is subsidize all farming
I agree.
or don't
In
subsidize it.
fact, I would. If we. Well, the problem is we have such a corrupt government. If we could ever get our government to be, not corrupt trash,
I
um,
don't know about
if
that.
it's a big if, I would even be okay with a some form, not necessarily exactly the same, but something like the postal service or something, some that level of integration with the state, with some aspects of agriculture. And the reason being is because there's nothing more important in the economy than your food supply. Like that's kind of it. If that one isn't handled, nothing else matters. You can't eat
Mhm.
steel, for instance. So it's
Well,
very important.
you could.
I think certain. I wouldn't recommend it. I think certain industries, there's probably four or five of them, should be very tightly woven in to the people themselves as to the country itself, and they
Mm.
shouldn't. There shouldn't even need to be any of this mass importation of it, especially in America. In Japan, I can understand you don't have any oil. I get it, but America doesn't have that problem,
No.
and there's no excuse for us to have that problem other than government bullshit. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
And corporate
Yeah.
greed. And
Well,
both of those can be alleviated if the people would stop just being so damn lazy and alleviate it. But again, I'm gonna be right back over there with Dave in the comments. All right, I'm gonna be summoning comments and
yeah.
just right into Yellowstone, just as many as I can,
Oh,
and we'll get this party
no,
started.
that would be bad. Yeah. I got a
Yes.
couple of questions I need to answer
Yeah.
here. Roger says, "Hey Chester, I got a question. Is it regarding Black Betty?" Anyway, his question is this: Is the Japanese currency going through some kind of change recently? Nope. No, I think our inflation rate is what, 1%?
Yeah, it
Less?
has been
Is
for like
that?
40 years,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're super stable. It's a blessing and a curse because yeah, you get to ride out all the waves fairly easily, but it you don't have the big spike growth like America
No, but
does.
but the but the level they're at is really good though.
Yeah,
Right. So
I
they
agree.
don't get growth. True. But the level is super high, right? You got
Yep.
to understand the average person in Japan is far better off than the average person in America or well, most countries, if not all.
Yep.
So yeah, we don't get growth here. We don't get drops. We This whole nonsense in the West is very clearly orchestrated. This is not real inflation you're dealing with, Roger. And
Correct.
the reason you can tell is go look at other places around the world and see if they're having same inflation. Because if America is having skyrocketing inflation, which don't listen to the hype because it's more like 60% overall, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not 6%. Don't listen to that bullshit, right? Um, uh, but but therefore, because of America's standing in the world, you would expect the inflation to be worse everywhere else. But when you go look everywhere else, it's actually not. The places
Yes.
that are being falsely inflated are the white man lands. I wonder why that is.
Curious. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, because other places now, there's a couple places that are in the middle of war. There's some places that are run by complete morons, Africa, and etc. But no, we have no inflation problems here. The gas did go up a little bit, but not much. But seeing as Japan has no oil, everything is imported. But other than that, not anything's really gone up. Matter of fact, I've seen some things go down. And the things that I've seen going down, you ready for this? Western products.
Yep.
Now, how is
I
that?
believe it.
How is that? How in the hell can
Well,
I be paying
bullshit.
less for Western products than you are? He just made an example of $10 for a freaking Happy Meal.
Yeah.
I'm still paying the same $5. It
Yep.
hasn't gone up.
Oh, you can't. I don't think you can get anything at McDonald's right now for $5. I'm
Yeah,
not even trying to be funny.
but I'm saying, why am I getting an imported thing cheaper than you are? That doesn't make sense.
No. No, it's evil. That's why.
Well,
The
it's
one
it's
word,
it's
four letters.
self-imposed inflation. Yeah.
Yep. No, they're trying to cripple the American middle class. It is the largest block of what? I'm just gonna
Well, you
say it,
got to
largest
deal with
block of
them
white
white
people.
people. You got
Yeah,
to
but they got to
understand.
get dealt with.
It's a
Yep.
Zionist conspiracy. All right, let me answer my the next question. Alan says, "You got the royal with cheese?" Nah, man. Nah, I
No
don't.
royals.
Actually,
None of
McDonald's
it.
menu over here in Japan is very, very simple. It's not as expanded as the American one, although they do usually have 2 to 4 slots that are Japanese specific burgers. But that's true for McDonald's all over the world. Unfortunately, the
Yes.
Japanese specific burgers here, well, they kind of suck.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The Japanese aren't great at meat.
They're not
Not.
good with food in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
No.
not. And it goes to the same thing. We're talking about how different and alien the Japanese are to the other Asians. In
Yeah.
the most painful one of these aspect of this for me is food, because I just take a little skip and a hop over there to Korea, which is, literally a little boat ride. It's not far.
Mhm.
I'm going to get hit with amazing food. I go a little bit further into China. Whoa, watch out, baby.
Yeah.
I go
Yeah.
down to
It might be people in China, but it's going to taste good.
That's true. I go down to Vietnam, killer food. I go down to Thailand, killer food. Indonesia, Malaysia, wow, right? Just killer food. Even in India, which I trust less than China as far as cleanliness, just ridiculous. Most people's idea of India is very simplistic. Their cuisine is off the charts, dude.
Oh, it is.
Right?
Yeah. We
And
have
then
a
I
lot of
follow
Indian
that up
restaurants too.
through the Middle East into Lebanon into Turkey. Wow. That whole arc, that Turkish arc, the Ottoman
Yeah.
arc is just insane, dude, when it comes to food. And here I am sitting in Japan, fucking raw fish on your plate. God damn it.
Raw fish and horse.
Yeah, I know. And the horse is raw too, as is the chicken and pork next to it.
Well, at least they cook the rice.
They do. Yeah. And it's like, it's good. It's literally just raw meat. Well, you have to dip it.
Yeah.
Then why don't you dip it and cook it then?
Dip it in some grease for about. It's some really hot grease for a little while. That's all I'm
Yeah.
asking for. If you want to dip it.
No, Japanese food sucks. And the thing is, you guys don't even really know what Japanese food is, because mostly what you're getting is Westernified Japanese food.
Yep.
They have a
That's true.
whole category of food here you've never even heard of, and it's all slimy and disgusting.
And I'm good. I'm good on
Yeah,
it.
no, you don't want any part of it.
Listen, we
Zionist,
all know.
yeah.
McZionists. We all know now. If that was true, if McDonald's was part of the Zionists, they'd be in North Korea by now, and they're
Yeah,
not. So I don't buy it. But anyway, um, we all know. I think it should be just generally accepted that the Italians perfected food. They did. They
they
nailed
did.
it. They killed it.
Yeah,
And then the Austrians to their north perfected meats because
they did.
sausages of
They
all
did.
types are just amazing. They're just
Wait,
amazing
well,
sausages.
you know the funny thing about that whole migration, right? I mean,
Yep.
we have, the Egyptians were not really famed for their cuisine, and honestly, we have very few recipes. But
Mhm.
the Egyptian elites that ended up creating, after the cataclysm, right? They that there's been many, you know. But
Yep.
anyway,
Yep.
the Santorini cataclysm. Because before that, one another thing about what we call Greece, of course, it never was called Greece until recently. Understand that. That's a new word, right? But back when the Hellenic League was starting up and getting going, um, what people don't understand is what the Aegean was. It was basically where the rich elites of Egypt went and built their little mansions. It
Hmm.
was a resort town. It was the Belize of the ancient world, right?
Yes. The
And
Monaco. Yes.
the Ibiza,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's
Rich
what
people
was
place.
right. Rich people places, and they had their little resorts and stuff. And what
I
happened
mean,
was
Greece is pretty beautiful. I can't blame them.
it is gorgeous. There's a reason Santorini and all that. It's just gorgeous stuff. But what
Yeah.
happened was is you had the Santorini thing go off, and of course you had the civil war in Egypt, which they never recovered from, right? And all that craziness is going on at that time. When the dust settled, all of those rich people, or at least their villas in Greece, had to sustain during that, and they did,
Yeah.
and they became what is called the polis. The polis is, what today we would translate as city state, right?
Yes. Where we get
And
politics from, the word
yeah, well,
politics.
we get a lot of words from them Hellenes, dude.
Hmm.
But anyway, and then history progressed, and eventually, the Byzantine Empire was the first actual Greek, heritage empire in history.
Hmm.
But nevertheless, but they really seem to develop cuisine in that area of them and the Phoenicians, and that there was a lot of cuisine development. And by the time keep in mind the Romans are knocking around the whole time because they are the actual Grecians. Understand the
That's right.
Hellenes and the Grecians had a bit of a quick little civil war, and the Grecians just so fine then keep it, and they went west to the western colonies of Syracuse, Sicily.
Yep.
But so those Grecian, what we call the Roman Empire, was kicking around for quite a while. But eventually things had got to the Greeks had made enough dumb mistakes that they were able to get the foothold, and then they went off and did their thing.
Right.
But during that era, the Roman era, food, you're right, food really got refined in incredible
Yep.
manners. I mean, you're looking at 1,000 years, more, 2,000 really, if you count the Holy Roman
I
Empire.
still to this day, I genuinely believe this, and it's not. I mean, yeah, obviously it's my favorite, but I think you could objectively even make the case that the Italian, especially the Italian masters, are just the best.
No, they're pretty
They are the
impressive.
best
But
cookers. Yeah.
the thing that's interesting to me, I'm just kind of lay out the movement, right?
Hmm.
Is this Romanness, this Roman culture and all its food and all that kind of stuff. It didn't really take in Europe strongly. It just didn't catch initially. But the
Right.
Byzantines loved it and took it. And of course the Byzantines became the Tartars, or the Ottoman Empire, right?
Hmm.
And the Khazars and all that kind of stuff that was going on in that area. But it was during the Ottoman period, during that Byzantine Empire period, where their traders and stuff went all over the world because they went a different direction. The Roman Catholic Church, the Holy Roman Empire, they went with the tactic of no, we're going to keep you ignorant. You're not allowed to learn anything. If you say anything, we cut your head off. I mean, or burn you at the stake. They went with that, and education plummeted into a dark, dark age. But the Byzantines were like, yeah, we want knowledge. And they went that
Yep.
way, and they traded the whole world around. And the world we sit in today is basically a Byzantine empire. world. We just don't know it. All of your food, cuisine, techniques, all that stuff is coming out of them. And then once the Crusades, which were really the beginning of the rebellion, to be fair,
Mhm.
once all that finally came to fruition, and then of course the Protestant Reformation, the Europeans started opening up and they started interacting with the world and like, oh, that's a good idea. Ooh, what's this? And now you get the Europe you have today. So it's very interesting to me that it didn't directly infuse itself throughout the entire Roman Empire because it didn't. It came
It is
later.
interesting.
It is interesting how and why exactly that didn't happen, and I think it has a lot to do with the Catholics, to be honest with you.
It
But
usually does.
yeah,
They
but
are the villains of history in a
well, it's
lot of
true.
places, a lot of
But
time.
keep in mind that we are probably living in either the most or second most worst time of Islam right now. During most of
Mhm.
Islam's time, I mean, they're doing what empires do, making war and stuff like that. But they were
Yeah,
pretty open to knowledge and learning and all kind of stuff. It
yeah.
wasn't. It was in the beginning with that crazy radical, if he was even real, and
Well, the the
modern
the
day.
people after him were definitely real, and they believed
Oh
in him
yeah.
enough to kill over it.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's true. But
uh,
and the more modern radicals and the nonsense they do. This is not what
yes,
the Muslims have been doing most of their history.
that's true. In fact, like you said, there was a time where they were very because they are by far, I would say, the most studious religion in the world. These people study their religion like nobody else.
They do.
And there was times, and I think that time's coming again. To be honest with you, right now, I think we're watching it happen through architecture. There was times where they were in other fields as well. I mean, like I said this last week, a lot of the stuff that people take for granted as white people stuff, European stuff, whether it be ideology or things like this, political philosophy, is Persian. It started
Sure.
in Persia under the proto right before and right after the Islamic takeover, effectively the conquest. But that's where a lot of those ideas came from, and this idea is that's just the reality of history. So these Muslims that we have today, I think we're starting to see largely because of the internet in a lot of places, the less radical places, not your Saudi Arabias obviously, but other places like the UAE and stuff, they're far more forward thinking than people are giving them credit for. And I think they're genuinely coming up in a way that we haven't seen the Middle East come up in, I don't know, 1,000 years almost. I mean, the architecture over there right now is just light years beyond everywhere else. They're unbelievable what they're able to build and how beautiful it is. And they build things that actually look good, right? They don't everything doesn't look like a big cardboard or concrete cutout like we do over here. Um,
I would say
their stuff still
600
looks
years,
really
but
good.
close enough.
Yeah, that's probably about right. But they're in they're in like the precursor of a Renaissance phase because they
Yeah.
have usually when a Renaissance starts, it starts in one area and then expands outward, right? So I think the Renaissance in Europe started religiously and then expanded from there. And I
Well,
would say there is the opposite way. There's or not the opposite way, but it's a different way. There seems to be architecturally they have this innate desire to build great things and it's expanding them into other avenues, which is very interesting to watch in real time.
I would blame
Even Saudi
Charlemagne.
Arabia is softening, probably. Even Saudi Arabia is softening. Like it just is. It's just you can see it happening,
Yeah, no,
and I
they're
think that's
yeah.
one of the ways, one of the reasons. Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
and we do have some radical Islam we have to deal with, and I probably you
Yep.
always had to be honest with you. But in general, they're mostly not like that.
Yep.
To be fair, they are a danger that needs to be looked at. The Catholics used to be the same, but they had the Reformation put a hole in them. So that worked out best for everybody. But yeah,
Yep.
no, it's the world we live in is far more complicated and interesting than you think it is.
Yep.
But, you keep
It's
you keep
genuinely diverse.
you keep doing the Black Lives Matter though, because
Yes. While the Middle East and the Far East take over everything.
yeah,
Everything at the conceptual level,
yeah.
which is terrible to see because it's completely unnecessary, and it's only because the West has abandoned any any pursuit of excellence. It's just not something that's on the plate anymore. It's all nothing but rationalizations for why certain people aren't as excellent as other people in the groups and things. And instead of just celebrating that excellence and promoting it, we tear it down. And it's crazy to me to even say this about the Muslim world, the Islamic world, the Middle East, really. But honestly, I genuinely don't see, besides Japan, which is always going to be Japan, I don't see any other place in the world right now that's going through what seems from the outside anyway to be a growth, a genuine growth as a people. Um, and that's a good thing. I'm not deriding that. That's wonderful. It's what everybody's wanted from the Muslim world for a long time is to see the seeds of change and growth happen. Because I genuinely believe they can and will be a beautiful people, and a lot of
Oh
those
yeah.
countries are pretty beautiful right now.
Sure. Well, I'm just back over here. I'm looking. I cannot understand because I never seen this show. Right. I don't
Yeah.
understand this whole Kardashian thing. These are very unattractive women. They're
Yes.
not pretty, and their soul certainly isn't pretty. And mostly they're fat. Specifically, the Kim Kardashian one that people keep going on about. She's a fat ass. Literally a fat ass.
Yes. If that ass is real, but yes.
It's not real, but idiots these days make their asses extra fat for some reason. But they're just unattractive humans. I just never understood it. And you're right, they have affected. But I want to get into our stuff today. Let's see. Alan has a point. He says, "Were the Griechi boys?" Okay, fine. Postmodern equals cardboard box houses. Yes, every religion culture has a Westboro. That's true, dude. As long
Yes.
as they don't announce their own bank. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure they will, though. Yeah,
Oh no, the UAE and them already have their own stuff.
yeah, they have all
It's the
their own
one of the
shit,
only
dude.
places that's independent from a lot of the international monetary funds meddling.
Yeah.
Um, and that's one of the reasons why they try to do things to subvert it. But that's again another topic. But
Well,
no, there are places that are still outside of that control mechanism. The only thing is all of them do business in the dollar
right.
because everyone does. So they're outside of the mechanism, but they're inside of the system. If that
Right,
makes
but
sense.
a lot of the Middle East wants to move away from the dollar, which is a big problem,
Yeah.
because that just means more war. But nevertheless, speaking of Dubai, there is a TikTok influencer. I love that word
Mm,
because it doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
that's right.
Her name is Sassy Trucker. Sassy Trucker.
Yeah.
She's an ugly fat black girl who has
Yep.
180,000 followers. So she's super famous, you see. And she
Famous.
went over to Dubai and she's yelling and screaming at men. First of all, you're
Oops.
black.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Second of
Let's
all,
be
you're a
honest.
woman.
They don't like that. Yep.
Yeah. You're going to jail for 2 years, dear.
Yep. Listen. I don't want to do it necessarily based on race or even gender, but I like the no screaming in public laws. I
Yeah.
think those need to make a big comeback.
Yeah. Well,
Um, I like that.
you,
I think we need the public's already loud enough. You got vehicles and everything else. We don't need to hear you screaming about if it's not an emergency situation. Shut the hell up. We don't need you
um,
screaming.
you think Biden's going to put the American government to in action
No,
to help Sassy Trucker like you did Black
no,
Sasquatch?
no. I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. Because I believe she's a conservative woman.
I have no
I'm pretty
clue.
sure I saw
Yeah,
that. I saw that she's from Texas, from Houston, I think. Uh,
she's a
Black lady,
ratchet
and
woman, though.
I'm fairly certain
Yes,
she's a conservative,
yes,
so they're
chap.
not going to bend over
I know what
backwards
the
for
word ratchet means.
her. No, and they might put the call in, big, hey, can we have our citizen, please? Um, but they may not. I don't think Biden. Well, first of all, Biden ain't going to do anything, but maybe eat some ice cream and drool. The people who control Biden might make that call if it's good optics, but they're not going to do it on any kind of principled position. It'll be simply just for the photo op.
Hmm. That is true. That is possible. Well, anyway, let's get into what we got today. We do have a bunch of things to talk about. Of course, there's been some interesting news the past week in regards to certain things that I think are interesting. Marvel, of course, Disney has had another big failure
Yep.
in the Secret Wars. Complete, absolute cataclysm. Its ratings are super low. No one watched it. No one cared about it, right? And that's got Sam Jackson in it, and that couldn't
Yep.
pull viewers. That tells you a lot.
People don't care. They're
But
done.
I wanted to start out with just taking a look at the box office stuff because we've been keeping an eye on that. Let's start with our boy, old Tommy, and
Tommy boy.
yeah, it's not doing well. Now,
No,
I think it's
that's not a very
probably
good number.
going to make a little bit of money, but not much. Right now, you're looking around $220 million they've made off of this. It's probably $100 million film, I would assume, right?
Minimum, yeah, I would say.
Minimum. So, counting that cost and advertisement, they probably still need another 100 million to break even, I'd say. They probably will, because we know his films tend to have legs. But
Yep.
that's a normally we see a number like this and be like, "Woo, that's awesome," right? Not really.
Yeah.
It's not
No, it's not
great.
good enough.
No.
Plus, you have what's going on in Hollywood right now isn't helping because the sequel or part two of it is now delayed for
Yeah.
who knows how long.
Right.
So that's not helping
They could
either.
just go with indie
Honestly, all
writers.
this, yeah, or just use the computer. Uh, honestly, I genuinely think this is nothing but a good thing, even though this movie didn't do as well as I actually hoped it would. I think it's a good thing. I think Hollywood desperately, desperately needs checked in a way that it hasn't been checked in a very, very long time. And I think they're getting that now. You see, you have a massive entitlement from the functionaries in Hollywood, the writers and such, and they think they deserve a lot more than they do, and they absolutely don't deserve what some of them are requesting because they put out garbage. They
Yeah.
create garbage.
Yeah.
They put out garbage. They don't produce. The money's not there anymore. Listen, it's been 4 years since Endgame, since the biggest movie of all time. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
the
they
only
took
thing that's done money like that
they did a
was the
180.
Avatar movie. Yes,
Hmm.
and my point is, since then there hasn't been a. Yeah, you can blame the pandemic to some degree, but there hasn't been a huge box office year at all. Even that year, people forget because the pandemic felt like it took 10 years. 2019 was a bad year. Endgame saved the box office for Hollywood overall as a percentage because it was so huge.
Yeah.
It was a
Well,
bad year
anticipation.
otherwise.
It was a bad movie too.
Yes.
But Eric, you should come on and talk about it because I am going to be talking about Secret Invasion today. You should come on and talk about it. But he says Sam was excellent, not surprised, in Secret Invasion, but the show just had no direction and lacked punch. The actors did the best with what they had to work with, but the writing sucked. That's basically what I've been hearing and been reading
Yep.
in reviews. Yeah, exactly that.
And what I basically just said, that the problem has been for a very long time, the scripts are terrible. You can read a lot of these scripts. It's not like they hide them. You can go find them. They're not good. They're
No,
very poorly written.
they are.
They're structured poorly. It's like they're structured by amateurs who never wrote a script before in their life. And most of these guys have been in the industry for decades, or a lot of them have. So there's no excuse for it. And yet here we are, and we have directors who are all insufferable by and large. Hollywood is in a bad situation. Take the politics out of it. I'll say it to the end of time. That is nothing but a crutch for incompetence. The only reason they lean into this political stuff so hard is because they need something to get audiences interested, because they know what they're producing is crap. Those old hat executives who've been making movies for 50 years can look at this movie and objectively say this is garbage.
Yeah,
They
because
know.
it is.
They're not stupid.
Look at
It's
this
because it is.
because it is. Look at this re-release of Heather's 35th anniversary. I
Interesting.
honestly Hollywood should do more of that
They
because
should.
some of these
They're going
old
to have to.
shows are better. There's well, no, but I'm saying they're so much better. And at the time when they were released, they might have got a mediocre reception, but compared to
Yep.
today's writing, they're way better. I mean, in
Yep.
this environment, re-releasing some of that old stuff, I bet you it makes some money. But anyway, let's continue with this. Sound of Freedom is up to, it's not gone worldwide yet. So this 149 million is much larger percentage just going into their pocket. That's probably, good 90 to 100 million dollars they've made, which is a cheap
Yep.
movie. So they've made money by far. And they just announced that they're going for an international release. Now, I don't know how well it will do internationally, but the hype it's picked up in America might help it. I don't know.
Yep.
But this movie is the little engine that could. That's for damn sure.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
also a good movie.
Yeah.
And Caviezel, I said it before when I gave my little review on this movie. It's just a shame he hasn't gotten more work because the man can fucking act.
He's
He
too
just can.
conservative. He's too conservative.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why he only works with Mel, pretty much. That's why. And these people now, but
In
other than that,
Wood
he only really worked with Mel.
Yeah. No, Roger Rabbit. I'm telling you, they should start re-releasing stuff because the environment we have today and the dullards that we call Generation Z and the millennials, their expectations are very, 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 very low.
Well,
And
they
a lot
loved
of that,
Endgame.
well, yeah, but I mean, a lot of that stuff that was mediocre in the past would hit hard today, I think.
I agree. I unironically think because in businesses do this all the time. They have a product that does really, really, really
I'll be
well,
back in a minute.
right? So what they do is they go back into their old playbook from 5-10 years ago, and they re-release a new version of it, right? Whatever they make very minor adjustments and re-release it. And basically, all you're doing is printing money at that point because you've already paid all the production costs the first time around. Most likely, you're either just selling old stock, or it's much cheaper to make the stock now because you've already made it. Um, a movie would be even more if one of those old movies they do a wide re-release of. Let's say Roger Rabbit. Let's say it hits 200 million. That's just profit. They don't have to make the movie again. They have to pay out their payouts to whoever is owed, royalties and things from the original movie. But other than that, that's just money. That's just money in their pocket, and they're good to go. The theaters are going to get some money, the studios are going to get some money, and the distribution houses are going to get some money. Everybody wins if one of those older films hits. Now, there's contractual thing. The reason why they don't do it very much is because there's a lot of contractual nonsense. The bureaucracy of Hollywood is ridiculous, and it prevents them from being able to do a lot of that cool stuff. Mainly just because they don't want to pay people. So any movie, I don't think Roger Rabbit does, but any movie that has commercial music in it from a certain artist, that's usually, unless there's some kind of arrangement, that's usually paid for, right? They have to pay to put that movie in, or that music in the movie, especially if they use it for like a credit scene or whatever. So in order to re-release it, they have to pay again because they don't have contracts that are basically perennial that last forever. Oftentimes they'll have to end up paying whoever holds the rights to that music. They have to pay them again to do a wide release of it, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
so
that's
that's
true.
one of the reasons why they don't do it. It's one of the reasons why certain movies and TV shows are really, really hard to find legally because nobody wants to pay the rights for something that isn't going to necessarily make them a ton of money
Right.
back.
But honestly, they shouldn't have to pay the rights once they've already paid it. I mean, if they had the
I
film
agree.
is in the can and been shown in the theater, that conversation should be finished.
I agree.
It's
But
already
it's
been
not.
paid for, right? But this is nonsense that these Hollywood union people argue about and demand, and it just
Yes.
makes things less fun because their millions aren't enough for them. But anyway, Sound of
Correct.
Freedom, it's doing its thing. Rock on. All right. Let's
Well,
go
like
back
I
to
was saying while you were gone, Chester, he brought up Roger Rabbit. If Roger Rabbit was re-released and it did kill, and I think it would,
yeah.
if it was a full release, they treated it like a re-premiere or something like that, and it made 200 million. I mean, that's just gravy. You've already paid everything that needs paid. You're gonna have to pay out your royalties and whatever, but Other than that, it's just gravy.
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah.
see any
I
downside
think it's
to
a
it, to be
win-win,
honest.
especially in this
Yeah.
environment. Yeah, I think it's a win-win. We should, and Heather's of all things, freaking Heather's. I mean, what a dumbass thing. There's so many better things. I mean, I don't know. How about the Breakfast Club, if you want to stick in
Yep.
that realm? I mean,
Yep.
honestly. But whatever. Let's go up to the. I'm just looking at this top list, what they're giving me, right? Haunted Mansion. Now, understand, this right here is so much more important than you think it is. And you know, if you've been paying attention to what's going on with Disney, which I know most people don't because who gives a shit? I have though. And here's the thing. Bob Iger is under extreme fire, as he should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the deal on the table is that there's a couple of movies coming up from him, and his job is literally on the line. Haunted Mansion and Snow White must make money. They must make money, or he's out. And honestly, I don't even know why
Well,
they're giving him the deal. The board should kick them all out, every damn one of
yep.
them, and reinvest in some proper actual talent that is hungry to make your company successful. That's what Bob Iger was. He used to be that. And then he got delusions of grandeur and wanting to become president of the United States. Yeah, done. Get rid of him. All right. But nevertheless, here is Cog One in the machine. Haunted Mansion. Now understand, this needs to make money. Opening weekend. Oof. Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good. That's not good numbers.
That's more than not good. That is devastating.
Well, for me, it's absolutely fantastic because anything that hurts Disney is just more of that. That's manna from heaven for me.
Right.
But for Disney and for Mr. Iger and for everybody involved in this, that's not good.
Yeah.
We've already seen over the last year, I think it's over 200, maybe even more. I don't know. I haven't kept a running list. Hundreds, though, of these DEI people getting shown the door. They're just told not to come back anymore, please. Thank you. Because the market has spoken, and it's been speaking pretty loudly for a little while now, but for some reason, well, we know the reason, these people refuse to listen and they want to pretend. But I don't think they can ignore it much anymore. Now they're getting pinched from both sides. They have a labor problem with their writers and their actors and everybody striking, and the market's just completely, like you said, the big problem they're going to have. I think we talked about this before we started the show. Even the reason why I think the actors and stuff are going to lose this strike, this battle, at least in the end, is because the public doesn't support them like they used to. But that is also true of the studios. Public doesn't support them either. And I think you're correct. I think they are going to end up probably losing this. But just because they come back to work doesn't mean people are going to come back to see them. Like the pandemic rush back to do something, which is really all it was, that people wanted to go do something, anything, is over.
Yeah.
The movie theaters have been open for a very long time now. Things are basically back to normal, but they are back to normal. That's all done. So now they have to actually earn it. And they haven't been earning it.
No,
and that's the problem.
And let's take a look what they did with the Haunted Mansion. Now, keep in mind, the first one they put out was with Eddie Murphy, right? And it was, it didn't do super great, but it was all right. Whatever, it's Eddie. But the shine's way off of Eddie, so they've rebooted it, right? We got little Danny DeVito down there. You can barely see. I don't know what this Carmen Miranda shit is going on with this black lady, but it ain't working. Choose one or the other. Either go Caribbean or deep heart of Africa. Please choose one. Owen Wilson is, he can act, but he's shit. He's shit. All right. Who is this hoodlum? Because he looks like a hoodlum. Right? Now, I like this girl right here. Whose kid is that? Is this a ghost? What is this? Whose kid is that? Where did he wander in? Because this kid ain't with her. He ain't with him. He's certainly not with that dude. He ain't with this one right here. Carmen Miranda ain't having none of it. Danny, what have you been doing? It's Danny's fault.
Well, Danny is a bit of a he's a bit of a philanderer. So it's possible. I'm just saying.
The midget monster. Ooh, you go. But I mean,
Jamie Lee
at
Curtis is in it too.
Jamie Lee as well. Oh, damn, that wreck of
Yeah.
a modern lady. But I mean, at least with Eddie in it, Eric, you have a little bit of that glamour, right?
Yeah.
But there's no Eddie, dude. And honestly, look at this hoodlum, dude. You think what are you going to sell with that guy? They don't seem to understand. They keep yelling and screaming at Americans for being racist, and of course, America is literally the melting pot.
Y-
Yeah, we have all kinds.
Probably
We
the least
know.
racist country in the
Well,
world.
we know how to deal with each other better than pretty much anybody else, right?
Yeah.
Successful or not, but we know how. But the thing with it is, most people in the world, I hate to bring it to you. I know it's horrible. Most people don't like blacks, and they
True.
can't tell you why. They don't know why. There's something built into the DNA that doesn't like the black. I don't know what it is. Go complain to God, because I ain't had nothing to do with it, right? But the simple matter is, when people see black people on the screen, they're not really eager. You have to really build up a coterie and a resume, something like a Denzel Washington can sell, right? But even
Yep.
then, it's limited. And then we're not talking about just Asia, India, who are dark as
Yep.
shit themselves,
That's true.
right? The Middle East, wow, dude, wow. North Africa, in general doesn't want to see black people. That should tell you something. The middle Central America, South America ain't have none of it. And there's black people all around them all the time. It's just the truth. It is the truth. It might be painful, it might be horrible, it might simply resign humanity. We're a bunch of hateful racists. Okay, fine.
Yep. I'm fine with that.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe that's true. Maybe it's true. Maybe there's something built in. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm telling you, it's hard to sell a black cast. And this is why they keep failing. But then you look at this cast. I mean, who in the hell are they? There's nobody here, dude. And I still want to know, who the hell is that kid? Now, my water
why
is
does he
boiling.
look 40?
And why does he look
Why does
40?
he look 40?
I'm going to go get I'm going to get my coffee. You guys delineate that, because I don't got it.
Well,
I think it's one of the new dwarfs.
It probably
oh
is. then.
God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Or maybe it's Gary Coleman 3.7.
And it's not like Danny, our boy Danny, the man, the myth, the legend himself, is the draw he once was. He's 80 years old, for crying out loud.
Right.
He's a very old man now. He's still, an unbelievable actor and performer, but he's not going to be drawing in the audience that they're looking to draw in for a Haunted Mansion movie, right? It just doesn't exist. It's just not going to happen. The people who know who he is either all know him from Always Sunny, and that means they're older, or they're just older in general. So
Yeah.
you're not going to. It's just. And Owen Wilson hasn't been a star, not really, in 20 years. Like, he's had a little bit of a comeback lately.
Yeah, the best thing he did recently is actually the Loki series.
Yeah.
Or
And don't
that's
let Chester hear you say that.
But I mean, other than that, what has he done since that was worth seeing since what was it, Wedding Crashers?
Gary,
Yeah,
I thought he
Wedding
was
Crashers.
dead.
Coleman is dead.
Gary Coleman is dead.
We're talking about Owen Wilson.
Yeah, Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Wedding Crashers and the Shanghai series with Jackie Chan. I love those
He
movies.
also was in that really horrible Marvel thing with Loki.
Yeah.
No, wait. No, he did good in that.
He did very
He
well
did
in
good.
this. That's why
He was fine.
I
Yes.
did put the
Yeah.
caveat. He actually can act.
Oh,
I put that
Jared
caveat.
Leto's in this too.
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh God.
it's just, why would I see it now? If the Haunted Mansion before the first one came out had no pedigree at all, right? So they
Yeah.
brought it out. They said, "Hey, Eddie Murphy's hot. Let's make this an Eddie Murphy vehicle." Sweet. Okay, fine. Right? And I saw it. And it was it was all right.
It was fine.
Right?
It was fine for what it was. Yeah.
But it ain't nothing I would make a sequel over, right? Unless I had a banger idea and then I can make something great. But I mean, literally, look, just this one picture, dude. It's just so bad. Like I said, I like Night Nurse. I like her as an actress. I think she's fun, but is she good at comedy? I don't know. Still don't understand about that damn kid, but he saw something. His thing he saw is over here, though. Danny's looking at me because he's like, "Get me out of this shit." I hear you, Danny. Carmen over here is looking way over there. I don't know what's going on. And Owen is also begging me to get him out of this movie. This guy's looking down here. She's looking back at Danny saying, "You're right, Danny. I agree." This kid, what the hell's he looking at? I mean, seriously, what are you doing here? Look at the confusion of the cast.
Yes. There's no uniformity.
It's called subconscious. What word should I use? Attunement. I'm going to go with that.
That works.
Yeah.
Attunement works. No, you're correct though. There's absolutely what's going on here. Why is Owen Wilson looking directly at the camera? By the way, directly.
Direct.
Everybody else is looking various directions. No one's looking the same direction. Why? Like what is?
It's very weird.
And I guarantee you that the storytelling is probably just as scattershot in this movie, right? I bet you the script is just as bad. But this is what I'm talking about. The functionaries of Hollywood are abysmal. The only ones who are doing good work and have been doing good work for a long time are the directors of photography, the people who make the thing look pretty. Everybody else has been horrible. Just as a unit. There have been exceptions, of course, but by and large, the functionaries of all the stuff that makes a movie special isn't just the movie on the screen. It's the marketing for it. It's the air about it, the aura that comes off of it when you think about it, right? All of that stuff is just off. When was the last time you looked at a movie poster and was like, "Wow, that's cool"?
Yeah, and
when was the last time that happened?
I guess no, it's true. It's been a while. But I guess Night Nurse is a single mom, which everyone chuckle. Okay. As if her ovaries still work. And I guess the shockingly not related black boy is her son. And she hires a bunch of people to help her because for some reason we know this incredible trend that's going on of black people buying Victorian mansions, and she needs an exorcism. All right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, Eric, did I do a good job? Was I racist enough?
I think so.
Thank you.
Wasn't
you hit all the points? Yeah.
Wasn't the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion movie? Weren't they a family?
They were, but you can't have families.
Yeah.
You can't have that. I mean, what are you talking about?
I remember
Thunder?
that movie.
Come
was
on,
fairly,
married
was
people.
fairly,
What's that craziness?
Well, they were all black. That's usually still allowed, right? Or am I even? Have they moved on from that? Even you're not even allowed to have black families.
People are not allowed to be with black people. Haven't you noticed?
Gotcha.
Oh, the whites and the
No
blacks
families
must
at all.
be paired, and they must
they're
be
gay.
exes. Yeah.
Unless they're gay, then you can have whites be gay together. That's
fair. You can have that.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. I understand. Honestly, Disney, why didn't you just bring Eddie back? I mean, it's the only spark you had for this movie was Eddie, and it wasn't much.
He's not that old. Like he could have easily.
He could have been grandpa. You could have brought some grandkids in, right? Could have had some.
And
grandkids.
we know he can play anything. We've seen him do it.
Yeah, no, we know. And it's his thing. I mean, bring Eddie back. You get a little bit of the shine of Eddie Murphy. People like Eddie. I know he's not as shiny as he used to be, but I mean, still, it's Eddie. And bring in a couple of hotter actors that people know, and bring in some kids. It's the grandkids' journey through Haunted Mansion.
Yep.
Right. I mean, it could be easy. Have you seen this, Eric?
This movie here? No. No, I did see, let's see, Sound of Freedom. I have seen that one. My wife went and saw Barbie just last Thursday. But no, I have no interest in seeing Haunted Mansion. I mean, maybe the grandkids will want to see it maybe when it hits Disney Plus.
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, there's nothing to pull me into it, that's for sure. How was The Sound of Freedom?
It was excellent. I cried through most of it, but yeah, it's a very gut-wrenching movie.
It's not an easy watch, but it's fantastic.
No, not at all. I mean, they don't show anything
Well, you don't have to.
But I
That's
mean,
actually more
you
powerful.
yeah, you know what's going to happen, and it is really good. I mean, it's just excellent.
Well, I mean, and that's one of the things why we lost so much out of horror, because
Yep.
they want to show you because they have the capability, so they want to show you everything, and they don't understand the power of the mind.
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
some
it's
of the,
because they're all dullards and they're philosophically dead inside. They don't understand. A very wise man once said, "We suffer more in imagination than we do in reality." Marcus Aurelius. And these people are all dullards. They don't understand that that's true for everybody. Every problem you worry about is almost always worse in your worry than it is in reality.
mm,
Everyone. It's very rare where it's the opposite case. But that plays out beautifully in horror movies. Because
It
if
does.
I don't know exactly what I'm looking at, my imagination gets to run wild.
You gotta use the power of the mind to your advantage. Captain Canada has spoken up. Hello, Captain
Uh-oh.
Canada.
Ooh.
Spoken for the Canadians.
He's speaking for the Canadians as a whole. That is true.
Yeah.
Although the Albertans are resisting your rule, Captain.
That's good.
However,
like
he
that.
says, "Okay, all right, Eddie Murphy can be in Haunted Mansion, but only if he's in whiteface." And I agree, Captain, because he and Wesley Snipes are the best choices to do whiteface, in my opinion, because they're the most African-looking people in Hollywood.
I thought because of the tax evasion.
Oh, that,
With it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Poor old Wesley. He should have been a Democrat, buddy. You would have been
Yep.
good.
You've been fine. They
You've
look
been
the other
fine.
way. You can steal billions. They don't
Decided
care.
to go over
That's
there
fine.
and hang out with Mel Gibson and shit. See what happened to you? Yeah. All right. Anyway, like I said, this movie has to make money or Bob Iger is out, and this ain't making no money, dude.
No, it's done.
And it ain't gonna.
It's done.
It's done. It's done already.
I remember how we used to say, eventually the money people are going to have to get in control of these. The people who want to make money are going to have to take control of these. Even Disney can fall. I know people don't like to think about it or they believe it's impossible. Everybody. Sears fell. Sears. So for you guys, Sears was a much bigger deal than it was for me because it was pretty much on its way out while I was growing up.
Sears.
But it at one time was the company when it came to retail stores. Like it was the brand, and it's gone.
Yeah.
It's just gone. They don't exist anymore.
Captain Canada has decided to pipe up and defend himself.
Oh,
He says it could be his Robert Downey Jr.'s Tropic Thunder. Fair point.
it could.
Fair point.
It could. Listen, we haven't had a good whiteface movie in a long time,
No,
and I
no.
endorse it.
Yeah. What was
White
the
Chick
Wayans
is
brothers and
hilarious.
White Girls? Wasn't that it?
Yeah, White Chicks,
White
White
Chicks.
Chicks.
and it's hilarious.
It's hardly
care what
bad.
anybody says.
It's so bad.
Yes.
It's so bad.
But
It's
that's
good.
why it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My wife watched. My wife finally decided to get rid of Netflix. Yay! Yay! And but she watched one last movie on it yesterday, and we watched Jackie Chan's new movie with John Cena. And
What?
eh,
That exists?
it's okay. It's all right. I mean, you got Jackie, and to be fair, John one knows how to move, right? I mean, he's a professional wrestler. He knows how to move. And two, John can actually act a bit.
Yep.
I mean, he can. So it was fine. The only negative we both would say about it is everything was CG. And when I say everything, I mean everything. The backgrounds, the buildings, TV screens,
Jeez.
everything was CG'd. And it's like, China. Is it that hard to just go into the desert and shoot for a couple of days? I mean, honestly.
Apparently. Too much to ask. Especially in China, there's lots of desert.
Well, yeah, especially up in the north, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, but that was okay, I guess. It was fine. But we both were anticipating, because so bad it's good, is what I'm kind of playing off of here. There is a movie out called Carter, just Carter, and it's a Chinese movie, and it's got a Chinese guy. I don't know why his name is Carter. I have no clue, because it's not the traditional Chinese name. Okay, but this movie is the worst Chinese movie ever made, I think. Wow, man, I've seen some bad stuff, but it's really bad. It's stupidly bad, full of CG, full of stupidity, dumbness, but it's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's so over the top. It's so absolutely insane. It's the best movie ever made.
So you're telling me John China
hmm
made a movie with Jackie China?
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm not talking
I
about
like
Jack
that. I
Chan
like
movie.
that.
I'm talking about another movie called Carter. Just Carter.
No, I'm just saying
yeah.
in general, John China and Jackie China
Yeah,
made a movie together.
they did.
I like that. I like
They
that
did.
similar. I like that. The
and it's
simile of
okay.
that.
It's
They
okay.
made it in China as well.
Oh yeah. hmm
Oh wow!
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, John does
Yeah.
speak Chinese horribly, by the way.
He
I
does.
mean, my Chinese isn't great. Let's be fair. My Japanese is way better than my Chinese. But my Chinese is better than his. It's so bad.
Yeah.
But give him credit. He's trying to learn something new, legitimately. So good for him. I'm not against that. But if they had just done normal standard production, it would have been a pretty good movie, I think. Oh, I would have, given it a 5, right? But it's
Right.
literally everything is CG, right? But the Carter movie is horribly bad. It's so crazy bad, but you got to watch it. You must watch Carter. Not not Nellie Carter, not John Carter, just Carter. Dude, I'm telling you, you will thank me later. It's ridiculous. There are points in that movie where people are literally flying sideways.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's awesome.
Oof,
Anyway,
Barbie is just printing money. Look at that.
dude,
up
that's
there.
what I'm
My
getting to. I'm
goodness.
getting to. I want to talk about Haunted Mansion because this is important for the future of Disney, actually. Oppenheimer. Now, keep in mind, they need $200 million to break even. They've done it. So this movie is from here on in the green. So we'll see how it continues. I don't know how much more legs it's got. Has anyone seen this one?
I have not.
Have not. That's on my list to see. I do want to see that.
But it's kind of a type of movie that you just watch from the video store, or well, I guess streaming these days. It's not. You don't
I
really
don't
go to
know.
a theater for it,
It is a
It's going to
3
have
hour
some
movie.
nice visuals.
Yeah, kinda. Keep in mind, this movie has no action. There's no war scenes in it. You don't actually see the bomb drop. None of that happens. It's just people sitting in rooms talking. Now, that doesn't mean it's bad. Matter of fact, it's probably fantastic. From the reviews I've
question-
seen, it's fantastic. But it's not actiony. It's not something you're going, ooh, it's an adult movie for people who are actual adults who can sit down and enjoy the dialogue.
I have a question, Chester.
Yes.
Will this movie be released in Japan?
Probably already is.
It's interesting to me. I wonder. I would like to know genuinely what a Japanese person thinks of this film.
Oh, I can tell you
Because,
what
I
they
mean-
think about it. Probably either if they like actual cinema, they probably it's okay, or they like it, or they just don't give a shit about long, boring movies they have to sit and pay attention to. You have to Japanese carry no anti-American stigma when it comes to the bomb. They don't
That's crazy to me.
because they consider themselves to be wrong.
Oh,
They accept
really?
responsibility for their actions. Yes, they do.
Yet
They
they've
understand
never
they brought it on
apologized.
themselves.
Well, they've never apologized to the Chinese. Let's be fair.
Well, no, they've actually apologized to everyone more than once, actually.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
See, now we're told over here they never have. That's
No,
literally what
they're
we're taught in
full
school.
of
I remember
shit.
it.
Not only have they apologized, they've paid reparations probably 3 times to the Korean comfort women. 3 courses of reparations. I wish they'd stop. You said you're sorry. You gave them money. Stop already. Stop it. Like the Koreans have never done bad shit in war. Fuck off. Right?
Yeah,
No.
it's
The
war.
Japanese are not anything what you think they are. They've apologized
It's
very
interesting.
clearly several times. They take complete responsibility for their actions. They even teach their children so that future generations will not make the same mistake.
And see, I'm over here wishing they would become a little bit of that Japan again.
Yeah, a little bit.
'Cause
Yeah.
Just we don't gotta go crazy. We don't need a kamikaze shit. Like, let's
Oh,
calm
dude,
down.
They would
But just a little
they
bit of
would
that.
eat Asia alive, dude.
That's what Can we honestly say Asia wouldn't be better under Japan than it is under China?
Well, most
Can we
of
honestly
Asia,
say that?
Southeast Asia is doing really good, dude.
Yeah,
I-
but I think the Japanese would mostly leave that be. let it do its thing, because especially if they're getting paid, they're like, all right.
Yeah,
But the
if
Chinese aren't gonna forever. They're
No,
gonna start super meddling here very soon.
true, but if the Japanese want to do some kind of conquest, they got to get their girls popping out 10, 12 babies
Yeah.
at a time, So
Well, they tried.
yeah,
He
well,
was trying.
you can reverse those things if you really put your mind to it.
Yep.
But nevertheless, no, the Japanese wouldn't have a problem with this movie whatsoever, especially because this movie has
Interesting.
nothing to do with Japan anyway.
Well, that was my question, though, is because of that. Like, not so much about the historical implications of the bomb and Oppenheimer himself, but the fact that it avoids the Japanese situation entirely, from what I understand. Doesn't even really mention it mostly, except for the fact that it happened. Right? They don't show anything. There's none of this, none of that. And there was actually, what's funny is there was Japanese Americans, who are upset about that for some
Yeah,
reason.
because
Yeah.
they're dumbass Americans. They're not Japanese. The Japanese
I
wouldn't
know.
accept them, dude. They're
I'm
loud and
aware.
annoying. Japanese would have nothing to do with them. This movie is called Oppenheimer. It's about a specific scientist who created something. It has nothing to do
A very
with war
strange
or
man.
bombing at all. It's about Oppenheimer.
A very strange man, Mr. Oppenheimer.
He was very philosophical, dude. But I'm just saying, why would the Japanese insinuate? There's no need to insinuate. I mean, the movie's literally about a scientist. It's not about Japan. It's not about
Here's
the
why-
war.
Here's why I think a lot of people are like me and would probably be curious about this whole energy around it, is because we're used to Americans who are of Asian descent, and a lot of them, not all of them, in fact, not even most of them, but a lot of them are insufferable when it comes to this kind of stuff, and we see it all over Twitter and stuff. So we just kind of, for some reason, our brains just kind of are curious if that's how the people of their homeland are. But by and large, they're not. Not at all.
Because
Not even
they're
just
not.
Japan, any of them.
They're American. They're not Asian at all. It's like saying I'm Norwegian. Dude,
Right.
the Norwegian would kick me the hell out of their country. I'm way too noisy. The
That's true. They're very
Scandinavians,
quiet
like,
people.
they're very quiet. They don't like people who are noisy.
They don't like
Scandinavians.
mess. They don't like noise. Just
Yeah.
none of that.
But it's like me having an opinion about Scandinavians. It's dumb. What I know? I'm a frickin' American Yankee, dude. What do I know? I know that. That's what I know, right? Well, no, right. I mean, right, Eric?
Oh, you're right. 100% right. Yeah.
Some Japanese American. All right, that's not enough. Don't need any
They
more
were
from you. That's
complaining.
good.
They
They're
were complaining, though, for real. That's for real.
I don't
Because
give a
it didn't
shit.
show anything about internment camps. It didn't
Yes.
show about Indians. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is about a single man, not
It's about
the entire
Oppenheimer.
war. Oh my god.
So dumbass. Yeah, so dumbass. So, therefore, if we make a movie about Washington Carver, then we have to make sure that 90% of the movie is about slaves. Is that what we need to do?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I just write that down,
That's
though.
proper. That's proper representation.
That's proper,
Yes,
just
you
so
said.
we don't forget.
fact,
Let's remember.
They should have made Oppenheimer black if they
They
wanted to
should've.
be proper.
That would have been
Yeah.
better. That would have been
Yeah.
better. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and I mean like Kenyan black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
true leather black. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be perfect.
Oh, they
but
should
let-
got the guy from what was that Captain with the Captain movie with Tom.
Oh,
Hanks.
with the pirate. Yeah.
Captain Philip.
Yeah, they should have the
Hey,
pirate
Captain
dude.
Yo. Yes. That crackhead
Who
looking
can't
guy.
even speak. Just that guy. The whole movie. Half the movie, you're trying to figure out what the hell he's saying.
Right. Anyway, here is the banger though. Look at
Here it
that
is.
shit,
Look at that.
dude.
Almost $1 billion. It's gonna hit it. It's gonna break it.
might.
Um,
Why? This is truly one
It's
of the
Barbie.
most hateful movies that has been made in a long time. It's truly hateful. Why are people going to see this? Why is your wife going to see this, Eric?
My wife
her,
went and
a
saw it.
bunch of friends.
Yeah, but it's
No.
literally hardcore feminist anti-male. Literally.
Okay, did you see it yet?
No.
Okay, then. No, they enjoyed it, so I don't know.
It's funny because Chester and Booster often disagree on films and things, but he agrees with Chester that Booster watched it. He watched a bootleg of it, And he said, "Yeah, it's
Why
everything
did
that
he
people are
even do
saying."
that, though?
Probably with his girlfriend. I don't know, but it's everything that they
Oh,
were
yeah.
saying. It's exactly what everybody was saying, and it's super hateful towards men and blah blah blah. But Chester, you have to understand. My wife put it best. Her whole life, she's wanted a Barbie movie, and they made one with a girl who looks enough like Barbie
Dude,
that
there's
it's
like
believable.
half a dozen CG Barbie movies already.
Yeah, but that's not the same though.
What do you
I
mean?
mean,
That's
no,
we
literally
like to
Barbie.
we like to
No.
pretend that CG and animated movies in the West are the same, but they're not. For whatever reason, the Western mind likes live action more. They just do. And that's what they've been waiting for. They've been waiting for a Barbie movie. And that's who's going to see it, is women, by and large. Women are going to
Yeah.
see it, going to watch it. They don't care about the feminism or whatever. They just ignore it and just enjoy themselves. They get all dressed up. It's an event movie, is why it's making money.
All right.
It's not because it's a great movie or anything like that. It's
no.
it's
My wife
probably a
even
shitty
said
movie.
it was
to be
okay.
honest, but-
It was. She liked it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't great.
It's what they want it to be, right? It's about Barbie, and Ken's more like a comedic villain than he is a villain, right? Stuff like that, and I think that's the main reason. It's
It's
kind of
the
like
principle, dude.
it's kind of like think about it this way. Well, the women, Chester, they don't have principles. Come on now. And think about it this way: when the first comic book movies started to really hit, a lot of people were going just because it was a comic book movie. Endgame, we just talked about it. Why was it so big? When Infinity War wasn't that big,
Because
it was
the
an
payoff.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an event.
Like
There
Force
you
Awakens,
nailed
it
it.
was an event, and boy,
The
boy,
payoff
it was
for
really
these
kick
women.
in the nuts. Especially, you know what hurt the most? The left nut. The left nut hurt
Yeah.
most. I don't know.
Yeah.
It leaned a little bit right in its kick.
Yeah.
It grazed the right nut, but boy, did it impact that left nut. Damn it.
That's
a
what these
smaller
women
nut.
have been waiting for. They've been waiting for a Barbie
I
movie.
don't
Most
know.
of
Let
them
me
grew up
let me
with
check.
Barbies.
Let me balance the sizes.
They love them some Barbies, and they got what they wanted. Now, if they
No.
make a sequel, it will not make this kind of money. I
Mine are
guarantee.
both equidistant and symmetrical.
Uh-oh.
Well, lucky you. Now, Thundero's right. It's probably because they're sick of having to go to all of our comic book movies,
Yeah.
and they
Maybe.
finally get a movie for themselves. And they're like, well, we're going to go see this now.
I guess, whatever. Let's see here. Alan says Blackenheimer. On board. Captain Canada says, I'm Canadian with British, French, and native ancestry, but I'm Canadian, not British or French. So he's.
I like how.
Yeah, I like that.
I like how Captain Canada, in your mind, sounds like he drinks maple syrup. He drinks it. That's
yeah.
I like
I
that.
got
Yeah.
my image, Captain Canada. Yeah. Coffee women. Alan says, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. That's fair, sir. That is fair.
Plus, Chester, one of the biggest complaints and you just said it, and I agree with you, is it's heavy feminist bullshit.
Hardcore. Yeah.
Women don't care about that as much as men do, and it's Barbie. It's always been that. Now, it's much more aggressive nowadays, the version of it, but it's always been feminist propaganda. From day one, that's what Barbie was.
Dude,
so what are we
Kens
surprised
are
about?
literally genitalia-less and homeless.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes. And that's what they are in real life, the dolls.
And
are genitalia-less.
in the end, they kick them all back to the curb down to being homeless again. This is progressive, I guess.
Yes.
All right.
Esther, the problem is there's just a fundamental difference in how this is going to be seen. We're seeing it from men, where men are logical. As Thundaro and Erica stated, and I've heard it from other women as well. They are aware of all that nonsense. They don't care. It's Barbie. So as far as they're concerned, them finally seeing Barbie is more. They know it's there. I've watched enough videos. They know a lot of them. As I said, as a movie, the movie fucking sucks. But they went because it was Barbie.
Yeah, but see,
my
wife wouldn't do that.
Chester, I bet you there's something your wife.
Your
might.
wife
Well, she
is,
might
your
not.
wife is also Asian. It's
That's
different.
true. She's also a Japanese mom.
Yes.
There's a big part of it.
And she loves her son because her daughter is quite annoying.
Oh my God, poor woman. But Chester, I want you to understand that these companies make billions of dollars a year selling women inferior deodorant.
Why?
The deodorant female deodorant sucks.
Why?
If you ask any woman,
why is it any
what-
different? I just figured the packaging would be different.
because they can put it in pretty pink packaging.
Yeah, but
and then
why
women
would the
will pay for
formula
it.
be different though?
It's cheaper. You see, it
That's
saves them
weird.
money by selling the cheaper stuff to the females, whereas men don't tolerate it, and theirs is better. Our deodorant is one, we stink more. That's fair enough, but there's no good reason a woman can't use it other than they keep telling them they can't, so they think they can't, but they absolutely can. There's no
You know-
reason you can't use it as a female.
You know,
Another example: razors. Men's razors are way better than females' razors. It's not even close.
Oh yeah.
why? I don't. That's weird. But my
'Cause women will
wife,
buy it. That's why.
well, I guess. You know the interesting thing about deodorant? Japanese don't use it.
Oh God.
Well, here's
They
the thing.
sweat.
They don't smell. You know why? Because they eat raw fish.
So so what you're actually saying is they probably do, but all you can smell in the air is fish. So you don't know.
The
Is that what
Japanese
you're getting
actually
at?
carry hardly any odor at all because the food they eat has no additives in it. There's hardly any sugar or salts or anything like that. Their food's ultra bland, and of course that means their palate is more subtle, which can be a benefit actually. But no, the Japanese don't smell because of the food they eat. We smell because we're pumping our body. Well, I don't anymore. I'd imagine because I live here. But Americans smell because we're pumping our bodies full of chemicals and corn syrups and all this stuff we're pumping into our body. It makes us have an odor, right? Now each culture's
Mm.
got to have its odor, and if you have someone from a very distinct culture, like somewhere in the heart of Africa or something, and they came to Japan, maybe they would smell something. Maybe. But me being American now, the Japanese don't smell at all. So, you know, yeah, it's but they don't use deodorant here, or colognes
Chester's
or
on that,
perfumes.
He's on that Joe Biden shit.
Yeah, well, I should
here
get on it,
sniffing
right? Go
people.
smell more of them and do a test. I should do a comprehensive study. Okay,
Be like, listen, it's for science.
it's for science. Anyway, let's move on from this. But damn, Barbie, damn.
No, I'm happy for it. Here's why I'm happy for it.
For some reason,
why
I
I'm
think
happy.
those older women would let them do it too.
Yeah, they would.
Probably.
Yeah.
Here's why I'm happy that the Barbie movie's making money, because it reinforces my entire premise that brand is more powerful than branding. The Barbie brand is a female brand, obviously. It's the quintessential girl brand, right?
In
when
the
it comes
West,
to
yeah.
toys in the West. So, of course it's going to make money. They could I don't know if there's anything they could have done to not make money other than cast a big fat black chick as Barbie. If they'd have done that, it wouldn't have
They
made
should
money.
have done that. They should have done
No,
that.
yeah.
But here's the thing. No, Margot Robbie's perfect choice, by the way. But
She is.
here's the thing, though. All of the boy stuff cannot be allowed to be boy stuff. It has to be integrated, and girls have to be allowed
That's
to do
true.
it. Why is that not true in this case? Right? Because Star Wars is a boy brand, always has been. But no, and the Force is female, right? Marvel, no, right? The boys can't have anything, right?
It's true.
But the girls can have, whatever they choose to have is theirs, right? Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's the way it is. That's
Part of that
equality, equity, even.
Part of that is what I was just talking about. Women will buy anything. Men won't. Even young boys won't. So it's a little bit harder to get their dollar. They used to try to get their dollar, though, at least, right? You used to have things that were marketed towards young men and boys and men in general, and those things, aside from really expensive toys, largely don't exist anymore. But the reason is that's one of the main reasons. Now, there's obviously other more political, nefarious reasons, but one of the main reasons is, and I think the reason why they adopted it, or partially, is the fact that the male dollar is much harder to earn than the female dollar is. Females, 80% of all purchases in the country are done by women in America. Like, that's insane. And almost all frivolous purchases are done by women. That's insane. Most credit card debt in America, most personal credit card debt, female. Or marriage, but we all know where. Like, we know why it's there. Men don't spend money like that. We just don't. As a unit, we're far more conservative with our money. Obviously, there's outliers, but typically speaking, men are far more conservative with their money, and that's one of the reasons why everything's marketed to females. The other reason is obviously because they hate men.
That's
they make
true.
it very plain. Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's continue on now. Where we're going to look at this, and Eric's going to give us his understanding of it. I am kind of curious who this very ugly woman is. Now, I don't know who this is, but she is Super Skrull. Just understand that they have gender swapped.
No,
Super
they did
Skrull.
not.
That is
Did not.
Super Skrull right there.
There was another one.
There's two?
Well, there was two.
Oh,
I see.
no, okay.
She
dumb.
killed the bad one. She's
Yeah,
the good one.
Yeah, no.
This is Emily Clark. She's from Game of Thrones. She was in
what character,
Solo.
What character is she playing, Emily, in Game of Thrones?
Couldn't tell you. I never watched it.
I don't know.
we,
She's a real ugly girl.
Can we admit that Game of Thrones has been a disaster?
It is a
Well, like
disaster.
the-
The first 4 seasons were killer, though.
The aftermath of the effect that Game of Thrones has had on popular culture and on Hollywood in general has been nothing but a disaster, because so many of those actors have come out of Game of Thrones and just ruined other things they've been in. I don't understand why a lot of them were very, very good actors in Game of Thrones. They were, objectively. And then they got out of Game of Thrones and they're garbage. Like, a lot of the roles they're in, they're terrible if you watch them.
Is this Khaleesi? I think
Maybe. I
she's
don't
the
think so.
Khaleesi. Yeah, no. Yeah, wow, dude. Age does not like her at all. I mean, she, of course, was blonde in that, but her face, damn, age does not. She's getting hit with a freaking bag of hammers, dude. Oh, well.
A little rough.
And she's a little bit small to turn into a superhero, to be honest with you. But anyway,
she's
go ahead, read the head
tiny.
title. Yeah.
Secret Invasion director appears to admit series was cobbled together in the editing room even as they were releasing new episodes. Why is that a different
Ooh.
color? Is that
Yeah,
my
no, I
screen, or
don't
is
like
it-
that they put some banner, and if you scroll down, it comes up with this thing,
Oh,
and it's like, oh, I can go back to the top. Oh, it's not even doing that here on the smaller window. But I'm going to send a letter to them and complain.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm going
There
to
you
try to
go.
get rid of it. But whatever. Let me tell you what's in this article, and you guys give me your opinions, particularly Eric, because he has seen it. But here's the deal. This thing, they were changing. Now, the director and some other actress on it were in there trying to defend this vehemently, right? But
Of course
it's
they were, yeah.
undefendable, of course. But basically, they were changing the script daily, sometimes minutes before they were going to shoot the scene. Every night there was shifts. The editing room, they would go and edit this, and then go back the next day and completely re-edit it over and over and over and over and over again. They had no idea where they were going. They had no end goal, and the thing was just being literally slapdatched together. And the director admitted this, and while admitting it, telling us, but that's a good thing. A little bit of Bernie Sanders on us, right? But this, I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to watch it, because fuck Disney, right? But
Ye-
the simple fact that I haven't watched a Disney thing in a very long time, to be honest with you. But here's the thing. This is another example, right? We look at Lucasfilm with Kathleen Kennedy and Jar Jar, right? They had no plan, and they admit that now, right? They had no plan for the trilogy other than get the men out.
Yep.
That was their only
Get the whites out
actual
of there.
plan. Get the men out. They had no plan. This thing had no plan. Now, and that's what the article says. And this is not some other person's opinion. This is what the director is telling you. Now, the director's trying to say that's a good thing, though. That's because it comes from, it offers a lot of improv, of inspiration of the moment. That's exactly what I felt when him speaking, because it sounded like that kind of dude, right? But although I do elaborate sometimes. But Eric, what did you think about it?
Well, that's exactly what it seemed like I was watching, a cobbled together show. I mean, like I said, the acting was excellent. Ben Mendelsohn was good. and he's a good actor, but he seemed like he didn't want to be there.
It,
Then he gets killed off in halfway through it.
Oh, spoilers! This guy right here, right?
I'm going to throw out spoilers. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Ben
go ahead.
Mendelsohn,
No one
they
cares.
killed
No one's
off
going to watch it.
Maria Hill. They killed her off in the first episode.
Maria, yeah, which, once again, who gives a shit? No one's ever liked Maria. She's even in the comic books, we hate Maria Hill.
What's the guy? Don Cheadle. He
Oh,
was
did he
good,
die?
but
That'd be good.
no, he seemed different, and you knew right away he was the Skrull. He was the big reveal as a Skrull, and everybody knew from episode 1. And he was the Skrull that everybody was supposed to be surprised, which nobody was surprised. This was revealed on a phone call of all things. Fury, this will crack you guys up. He's married to a Skrull.
What?
His wife is a Skrull.
Why?
I don't know. And they kiss on the very last episode. But so this little girl here, Emily Clark, is Ben Mendelsohn's daughter. She's kind of rebelled, the young angst against her parents, and joined this cult of Skrulls, which we find out now there's over 1 million of them on Earth when there's only supposed to be a couple thousand, that want to cause World War III so they can conquer the Earth.
Oh, finally
So-
the Skrulls are the bad guys. Finally.
But yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God, thank you.
So yeah, she's helping her dad out when she finds out that this group killed her mom, which apparently happened sometime off screen, and we don't know when.
Don't you love it when things happen off screen?
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
And this colonel or whatever guy here, he's one of the Skrulls or one of the people that's being impersonated by the Skrulls. They put them in these pods so they can take their memories, and they keep them around instead of just killing them.
I see.
So we don't know when Rhodey was replaced. At some point, he was replaced. There's Maria Hill. She's dead. But
Good.
Sam did a great job. I
Good.
mean,
Bad fake nose job, by the way, actress lady. Sorry.
oh my god! But I mean, the acting was good. It just the story was horrible. It's like every single Disney Plus show there's been. They have all this stuff leading up. You got all these plot points that need to be resolved, and they're not getting resolved. They're not getting resolved, and all of a sudden you notice there's only one episode left, and they got to wrap everything up. And then they just cram it all together, or they just don't resolve it at all. And that's exactly what happened in this one.
Yeah, and then
just
because they don't know how to write.
WandaVision.
Yeah, just
Yep,
like WandaVision,
just like
because they can't create a coherent thought. I will say though something very interesting. That background there, that monitor in the back. I'm in Sims. I'm building a super genius, mad genius villain base,
Oh my god!
I like that.
and I've been putting monitors and stuff all over the walls. And I have a set of monitors that look just like that, actually.
Wow.
With a blue tech schematics and stuff like that. Yeah, dude, you can find anything for The Sims, dude.
Mhm.
I'm going to take over the world.
Like the Skrulls.
Like
There
Skrulls.
is one point. So the evil Skrulls attack the president's motorcade in Germany, I think. Talos, Ben Mendelsohn's character, and Fury have to come to the rescue and try to help and save the president. Because Rhodey works for the president. He's just sitting in his car. He's not going to get out. But that's when Ben Mendelsohn gets killed. And Fury takes the president to the hospital by himself. And that ends the episode. The next episode, he's wheeling them in to the hospital with a doctor and a nurse. And there's nobody in this hospital. There's no Secret Service there. There's no nurses. There's no doctors. They're just. I mean, it's like they ran out of funds for a cast.
Probably did. Yeah, they
It was
might
just.
have. Or just didn't think about it, didn't think you needed it, right?
It got progressively worse as the series went.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed a lot of modern day things feel empty.
Yep,
Right.
hollow.
They're hollow. They're empty, and it's because they're not filling in the background. And in that you could take that in multiple ways. But it's a shame because if they did really what they should have done, going back to the Infinity Crisis, right? What they should have done is ended Endgame properly. That would have been nice. But beyond
Yeah.
that, the Skrull in their little Captain America movie, which was very essential, the Skrull should have been the bad guy. The bad guys day one. right? Because they are bad guys. And then phase 4, what freaking phase are we in?
5
5.
now.
Jesus. But whatever
I think
freaking phase
this
we're
was the
in,
end of 5, right?
well, but it could,
Yeah,
the
the
whole
beginning of
thing
5.
could have been about the Skrull and defeating the Skrull.
Yeah.
It could
Well,
have been, that's
well,
different, right?
here's
Because
the
Thanos is a galactic cosmic threat. The Skrull are not
Yeah.
that, but they're numerous and they're a different kind of threat. It could be interesting, right?
well. This is what they get for 1, skipping around stories. 2, thinking that you can just slap the Marvel name on any piece of shit and think that would be good. And 3rd, and lastly, getting this anti knowledge of the lore shit that they've been running with, and Disney's not the first one to do it for the last 20 years plus. When it comes to these fucking properties, how many times have we heard now an actor in an interview, actress, whatever, and they're saying, I had to go off and sneak off and read some of this stuff on my own because the directors and the producers said, oh, that's not important, or we don't know, or it's not important to know. And they had to go off and hide. We've heard it from, and we're not hearing it from like, small timers. I mean, for fuck's sake, Zoe Saldana and fucking Hugh Jackman have multiple times talked about how they had to go off and buy the shit on their own because these cheap bastards won't even provide them a $70 fucking book. Like, yeah, here's the character you're going to be playing. You should get to know it, right?
Right. No, of course they should. I agree.
I mean, for fuck's sakes, when Vince McMahon brings in a wrestler, it could be the most retarded gimmick in the world, but Vince is going to come in and be like, look, you're going to be the Bastion Booger. And he's going to sell you on this shit. He's going to give you a whole synopsis of what this nasty, disgusting bastard's supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
And you're supposed to go, all
right.
Hollywood is like, oh, you're gonna play this iconic, near 100-year-old character. Hey, you don't have to research it. We'll make shit up as we go.
Right. Yeah. And that is a problem. Eric, I do have a question. Is the frame? Because I've been looking at these pictures from the series. Is the framing always this bad?
No.
Just a bad
caption. It's really it's all over the place. I mean, everything about it. I mean, from production to writing, except the acting. Acting is good.
This framing is horrible.
But but that director, this article came out today. He hasn't read any bad reviews. He never reads any bad reviews because they're not worth reading.
Oh Lord.
And there is no superheroes in this whatsoever, other than Rhodey in a suit.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
One of the more significant, and that's another thing. Again, one of the more significant stories in Marvel's past 15 years was Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
So you had this huge story, and the premise of the story is you don't know who is and you don't know who isn't.
Yeah.
And you don't have no heroes.
It's Invasion of the Body Snatchers again.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Here's the other problem Marvel is running into, and DC would run into this problem if they ever made a competent live-action movie. They're scraping now because they've burnt through so many of their good stories and good villains and good heroes. They're scraping, and until they can maybe, hopefully, somehow find a way to get the Fantastic Four and X-Men in there, they got nothing. They've killed Thor; he's done. To the point where the actor doesn't even want to play him anymore.
No.
So there's no chance of that. They absolutely, abjectly refuse to even consider an Incredible Hulk movie. That's done. They got Spider-Man. Last movie was pretty good. That's it. They have nobody else that can carry this franchise even remotely, and Tom Holland can't do it himself. He's just not the guy. So they're scraping, and they're coming up to stories like Secret Invasion, which for me I never really was a big fan of. But it's not a story that had cultural penetration, right? Like Thanos has cultural penetration. This doesn't have any cultural penetration. Some of Spider-Man's bigger stories obviously have great cultural penetration. Secret Invasion just didn't. It was in the downturn era, and it just never had the cultural impact that some of the other stories did. So they put it on Disney Plus and just kind of threw something together. But if they had just taken their time with it, if they had just done what Matt Reeves did and what his stars of his movie, his Batman movie did, and read the fucking source material, study it,
Yeah.
and made something akin to it, maybe it could have had that cultural penetration. Maybe it could have been Marvel's Mandalorian, at least season 1 and season 2. Well, forget about the rest. But season 1 and season 2 were pretty good. It could have maybe done that. It could have been the thing that kind of brings people back to their interest. Honestly, the first 2/3 of WandaVision was pretty good. It was interesting. It had intrigue. We're like, what's going on here? What's this? What's that? All of those questions were for naught because none of them ended up mattering.
Isn't that irritating how often they do that?
Yes. And they do it on purpose. They pretend like they don't, but it's on purpose.
Kill it at the ending?
Yeah, kill
Yes.
it.
And
kill
things
it,
go nowhere.
if you have to.
Things go nowhere. But back to the Matt Reeves example. Back to the Matt Reeves example, real quick. The star of that film, old sparkly boy, went out and bought a whole book because he wasn't a comic book fan. He admitted that he wasn't a big reader, but he went out and studied Batman at an unbelievable level to where you can watch him in interviews. He knows Batman now.
Yeah.
He knows the character very well. And that's why he did such a great job. That's why Matt Reeves, I think, did such a great job because they studied what they're trying to make. They didn't just be like, I know who Batman is. We can wing it.
I 100% agree with that. I don't like the idea of, no, we don't want you to have any contact. We're doing our own thing. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's not your IP. Quit messing with it. I do want to make one quick point because I know these two guys have something they want to say. But this whole thing, back in the 50s, it was very popular at that time to try to bring back what was going on in the 20s, right? And in the 20s, what you had was you had the emergence of comic books, right? But the way they started is kind of the Penny Dreadful thing. But they would have an actual short story in a magazine, and they would have some pictures as well. Now, as we came into the 30s, it became quite the opposite, mostly pictures and shorter, constrained storytelling, therefore the comic book. But in the 50s, they tried to bring back that original idea of having short stories in magazines and with some art, right? They tried to revitalize that. It didn't really stick, but they tried. And of course, one of the most famous ones of that era that was doing that was Collier's Magazine, right? And one of the writers for that was a guy named Jack Finney. And Jack Finney created a serialized story in the Collier's Magazine that later was put into novel form. And I think they actually adapted it even further beyond that. But I know Jack Finney's original, The Body Snatchers, right? What a mega hit, because this is just another example of the Body Snatchers, or the invasion of the Body Snatchers, as most people know, with the movie creation in 56, and then they did it in 78, and then they did it in 93, and then they did it in 2007. And then I think there was also something in 98, and there was something in 2014. This damn story just won't go away. They keep and they changed the name, of course, but they keep reusing Jack Finney's idea. And it's a good idea. And even his idea wasn't that original. But this right here, Secret Invasion, is just another Body Snatcher ripoff. But in the comic book, it was okay fun. It wasn't as great as some of the other things they had. But I just don't understand why that particular concept, the Body Snatchers, it won't go away. I mean, what is this, the 10th or 12th iteration? I mean, honestly.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. It's because it's psychologically terrifying. The idea of not knowing, of strangers, basically, not knowing who you're talking. The person you think you're talking to, you're not actually talking to, right? It's a very terrifying thought for humans.
And to be honest, even though it's a rehash done correctly, think about it: the most powerful beings on the planet, and you don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it, but it just keeps being used over and over.
If they would have done it right, because again, like you said, there's so even going back to what Thundaro said, even if they bring out Fantastic Four and the X-Men, and at this point, I don't even think the fans care enough because they've butchered it so bad
Yeah.
to the point where nobody thinks they're going to get those two right.
Yeah, they just noped
But
it
the
out.
fact that, all right, you have this thing like the Skrulls, you could have built this up to where you could have gotten the Kree Skull War, which we're not going to get.
No.
You could have got the secret invasion where you don't know who's who, and you could have ended it with, oh, we know who can figure this out, and there's like a picture of, it's like a newspaper clipping of Reed Richards somewhere, alluding to him.
That'd be neat. Yeah.
There's so many things they could have done had they not gone the direction that they have, and not taken this philosophy where it's just content, you can just squirt the shit out your ass. It's they've butchered it to the point where now it's like you're almost at that point where a lot of Star Wars fans is, where they're at the apathy stage, and if Marvel reaches the apathy stage, Disney is dead.
I think it already is. I really think it is, because people like me have already noped out. And full disclosure, one of my mother was the youngest of 13 kids, actually 18, but whatever, that's a long story. Therefore, I had a lot of much older uncles, and I grew up with my grandmother mainly, and there were stacks of things upstairs, comic books, Collier magazines. What's that country novel writer, the cowboy writer? There's a whole bunch of his books.
The Lonesome Dove guy.
Oh, damn it, what's his name? Anyway, that guy. So yeah, I grew up. I read like so many Collier magazines, even though they're from the 50s. It's before me, but I read it because they were there. Anyway.
Wait, I gotta tell you guys how it ends.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Delmar Maroney, he's the president. I showed him down a little further. He's just an idiot president through the whole thing. But then the end, when they discover that there's Skrulls replacing high-ranking officials all over the world, and they stop the disaster because one Super Skrull beat the other Super Skrull, and she, by the way, she is now the most powerful character in all of the MCU.
Of course.
Of course she is.
The president has a press conference and decides that America will not allow any foreign species from any planet come to America ever. And he is waging war on any of them that try. And then the next scene, and this is because he tells them about the Skrulls, the next scene is snippets of people just going through, all white guys, shooting people they think are Skrulls.
Yeah, of course. Lovely. Well, we already knew that Sam had said many very anti-white things already in the show. He's already made several racial comments. We covered that. And there's a couple of things I noticed in this image. Once again, framing. God damn these amateurs. First of all, a Secret Service member with an injured arm would not be in duty. He would not be there. And I see two scenes where this injured guy is there. There's no way he'd be there. No way. That's not how they work. 1. 2, have you noticed how much he looks like Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
A bit.
Look at it. They trying to make a statement here? Because they're ultra political. But of course, a bunch of white men are being evil. Of course. White men, how bad, right? So...
They're going around shooting everyone they think's an alien.
Well,
it's like we do all the time.
We do that normally, right? Yeah. It's actually quite the other way around.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the Americans.
I really wish white people were as badass.
Back.
I really wish white people were as badass as Hollywood thinks we are.
Yeah,
Holy
I know.
Shit.
Boy, we would.
We're
really
literal super villains and heroes at this point. Like we're. It's insane what we can pull off in their mind.
Yeah. So yeah, don't watch it. Crap. Boy, I have
Unless you
not
want to
gotten
see,
far.
if you want to see Sam make out with a scroll.
Yeah, no, I saw that and I thought he was
She's
doing the
not even in
homosexual
scroll
scene.
form, is she?
She is in scroll form. You know.
In the very last scene, when he goes back to the space station, because the Kree and the Skrulls are going to have a peace talk now, so he's going and she's going to go with him to mediate it.
Good lord.
Of course she is. Of course she is.
Of course she is, because Nick Fury needs all that kind of help. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's move on to the next debacle. Potentially.
Paramount Pictures CEO Brian Robbins says a Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves sequel is possible, but it has to be cheaper.
First of all, we know this isn't going to happen, and not for a very long time, and it won't be a sequel because this thing bombed hardcore. It lost ridiculous amounts of money. It's unfortunate because they couldn't keep their damn mouth shut, because in general it was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, and
I don't know anything about D&D. I just
dude,
it was fun.
There were Easter eggs every other breath. It was wonderful, dude. There were so many Easter eggs. The people who made this movie. Now, the people in charge, who knows? But the ones who wrote and made everything happen in this story they love D&D. There's pure love on display in that movie. However, because they came out, ran their damn mouth about how happy they were about their feminism and progressiveness in the movie, which they didn't exist, they ruined it, and people didn't go watch it. Wow, another woke piece of crap. And it's unfortunate because it's actually a pretty fun little movie. Now, sure, there is some woke shit. You got the little black wizard boy, but I don't know, is that woke? Why can't a wizard boy be black? There's no reason, right? And he actually has a good story arc. The little ginger here that's fighting with the elves for rebellion and all that kind of what have you. It's fine. She has a little bit of story arc. This girl is useless. This lady over here, I can't remember, Montoya. What's her name? I can't remember her name. Yeah, she's playing a strong barbarian and fighter, but it's D&D. Have you never played it before? So, and he's playing a bard, and he's a pretty good bard. I mean, there's nothing in it that's actually woke. There's no reason in D&D that a woman can't be a barbarian fighter or a black boy can be a wizard. So my point is, it's not woke. Now, the people making it might have thought so, because you know how tainted their brains are. But in reality, there's nothing really woke about this movie at all. But they ruined it. So I don't think there's anything coming, and it's a shame. I wouldn't have minded seeing this cast do more. It was good fun, and there was so many Easter eggs. Oh my God, dude! Eric, you remember the original D&D cartoon?
I saw that in there. Yeah, I caught that really.
Wasn't that great, dude?
That was cool.
It was so nice and much. Matter of fact, what I'd like to see is follow their adventures, please. We don't need this cast. Go get those guys and follow that adventure. That would be nice. So, but whatever, they ruined this shit, and it's really sad. So, unless anyone has any opinion, I'll just move on, because honestly,
I think
they're not going to make another one.
As someone who has a deep-seated disdain for Dungeons and Dragons,
bastard.
So my opinion is definitely the one that matters here. I think if you're going to make a D&D movie, it needs to be about people playing a D&D game. That's what they should make. They should make a meta movie where it's kind of like Jumanji.
Oh, meta. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Don't get ahead of me.
I think trying to make it into like a serious fantasy or whatever, even just a semi-serious fantasy movie, misses the point of why D&D is loved. It's not loved necessarily for the fantasy genre. It's loved for the fantasy itself, getting to play out fun, that character.
It's love for the game, the game. But this movie really encapsulated that. I am a diehard D&D fan. I've been so since I was 9, right? And I've been playing D&D ever since, and I haven't stopped, and I won't, right? And Ed Greenwood. Well, Ed agrees with me, not you. But anyway, this is the best D&D movie we've ever had. Easy, because it's pure love of D&D. There, like you were mentioning, there's just Easter eggs everywhere that the only people who are going to catch them is D&Ders. Now he caught the original cast from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, and I'm sure a lot of people caught that. But I'm telling you, every other breath there's a damn Easter egg in this movie. I just kept.
Everybody I know that's a D&D fan and still plays D&D loved it.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, dude. And God, these people, shut your damn mouth, dude. I mean, yes, of course, a white man can't have a white wife. He's got to have a black lady, and created this mulatto girl. But luckily, this mulatto girl is not in the movie hardly at all because she's lame. But she's a child actor. What do you expect? Everyone else is great. The arc of the Black Wizard Boy is great. It's a great story arc, right? Everybody has a story. Her story is weird because she has an obsession with halfling men, but whatever. But everyone's got a story arc. It's wonderful, dude. It's a real actual movie. And look, they're actually on the water. Go figure. No CG.
Well, I don't see any dungeons at all.
Oh, there
in
were
this- in
dungeons.
this picture.
There were dungeons, sir.
Now,
Were there
is
water
this better
dungeons?
than the Tom Hanks movie?
Way better. Way better.
Tom
Way
Hanks
better.
movie. He made a Dungeons and Dragons movie. How do I not know this?
But oh goodness,
It was a made-for-TV movie
Mazes and
back in the
Monsters.
80s.
Yeah.
Mazes and Monsters. It
Oh,
was
I
about Dungeons and Dragons
Evil.
being demonic and turning
Evil.
people into murderers.
evil. I think
Well,
it was one of his
I
very
agree
first
with that,
appearances too. But
that all checks out.
I'm gonna
The
move
logic
on,
carries.
it's a damn shame because it was wonderful. But anyway, here we go. Speaking of,
Head of Mattel Films Robbie Brenner
Mhm.
says Daniel Kaluuya's Barney movie will be, quote, more adult and have adult themes. Why?
Now, well, here's the thing. Just like with the Barbie movie is not for kids, this movie is in no way for kids. Now, the Barbie movie is most certainly not for kids. It's full of vulgar language, right? And in no way should you bring your children to see Barbie at all. It's not for kids. It's for adults. Fair enough. And Barney's will be as well. And matter of fact, they're leaning into the fact that everyone makes fun of Barney. That was a Freudian thing. But nevertheless, this movie is being made for Zoomers and Millennials who always have angst toward Barney, and it's going to be kind of like a fuck you, we built your childhood type of movie. And I'm like, really? That's how you're going to make your Barney movie? Adult with a bunch of vulgarity and making fun of people who grew up with you? What?
Didn't we have that movie? It was what was it? Death to Smoochie?
Death to Smoochie, yeah. But it's kind of sounds like the people over at Mattel are a little bit pissed off. But yeah, this one's going to make tons of money. But then again, I said the same thing about Barbie, and I was wrong.
You were.
This could make
And
killer
it's-
money.
Simply because you overestimated Western women, Chester. Western
maybe.
women don't care about any of this stuff. I know people like to think that they do, but
That's
they
true,
don't.
Alan.
They're very easily swayed, very easily bought. And Barbie is something they've wanted for years. It's just like how we wanted good comic book movies and Marvel delivered for a while.
They did. We were
Barbie's the
happy
same
for a while.
way.
That's true.
It gave them mostly what they wanted. It's just a goofy little movie. Yes, there's a lot of ridiculous messaging in it, but if you ignore it, then it doesn't bother you. And these females, these ladies, are not invested in Ken like they are Barbie. So demonizing Ken, here was the response I got. Well, somebody had to be the bad guy. That was the response.
Yeah.
It's something designed by female-brained people for female-brained people. So I think the problem you're going to have with Barney is Barney was for everybody. Barney's not a female property at all. It
It was
doesn't have
horrible.
that built-in audience.
I wouldn't allow it in my house. I saw my kids watching it one day, and I sat down to see what it was, and I shut it off, and I banned it. It's literal
Banned the
rock
dinosaur.
candy. I banned it. No, it's so brain dead. It's so stupid. Alan says that Barney touches Dudley in the bike shop in this one. Oh no.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so and they go on and it's so bad. But this article goes on about how they want to wait for it, shock your expectations. Okay.
It's gonna be a
Not Barbie.
furry
Barney.
movie.
I
with
hope
Barney?
so.
Yeah,
I
probably.
hope so. Yes.
Barney D and Q. We gotta do it.
Yeah, we will. But the thing is, this movie is not like the show at all. It is being made 100% for adults. They actually said it's not actually R-rated, which means it's close.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Oppenheimer and the ugly girl having sex. Perfect.
This is going. This one I think is probably going to pop.
You love me.
If they made
We're
a
one big happy
sincere,
family.
if they made a sincere live action Barney movie, which Barney was always live action, but if they made a sincere one for families, I think it'd make a lot of money. But I don't think this one's going to make. It's not the same brand. It's a misinterpretation of what's happening with this Barbie movie. The Barbie movie was going to be a success because they have a guy who looks like Ken and a chick who looks like Barbie, and everything else is correct aesthetically. That's it. That's all the women wanted. They just wanted to go have their little Barbie movie, get dressed up in pink, put pink, paint their nails pink and be Barbie for a couple hours and just get to live out this fantasy of watching this on the screen. That's it. That's why it was a success. Barney doesn't have that. There's none of that for Barney.
Well, I mean, but if they make something that is comedic spoof, who knows? It could hit. Now, I've heard some of these transgenders go on about how Barney was what introduced them to transgenderism, and I get it now. I see it.
That is called mental illness.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alice
says they want to ape Five Nights at Freddy. Yeah, maybe, dude.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Five Nights at Freddy was original.
Yeah.
It was Five Nights at Freddy is what it's always been, and you can't take a certain property like Barney. And look, I'm one of the many fucking kids who hated that damn thing growing up.
Yep.
And you taking it and whatever the fuck they plan on doing, we're gonna make it more adult and shock your expectations, dude. No, you can't, because for the millions of kids like me and like Thundar who probably grew up hating this thing as well.
Oh yeah.
I don't give a fuck what you do to this. You could have a scene where he puts on a strap on and fucks Baby Bop. I'm still not going to watch this shit.
What's a Baby Bop?
Whatever the fuck. That green, the one of the green ones in it.
Baby
The
Bop.
other furries.
Okay.
It's you can do whatever the hell you want with this. You could turn it into a horror movie, which I'm pretty sure that's what they're gonna go, because they haven't learned that from the Banana Splits bullshit.
Yeah,
you know they turned
talk about Five Nights at
somebody
Freddy
made a horror
remake.
movie out of
Well, yeah,
Banana
but
Splits,
the
right?
five they did, and it was funny. It was great. That was a good horror movie. But here's the thing: Five Nights at Freddy is already dead because Nick Cage already made it.
Well, but I'm saying even with that, what could you do? What could you do to get millions of people who didn't care about this then, as an adult, to go, hey, remember that thing you really fucking hated as a kid?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna bring it back and we're gonna shock your what expectations of something you hated.
Did you know that Nick Cage was in the Flash movie?
No, because
I saw it.
I didn't hate myself enough to watch that thing.
Yeah, I didn't see. I have to find the clip because he finally got to play Superman.
Oh God.
The most epic Superman ever, Nick Cage.
Hey, it looked horrible. It looked, you knew it was all CGI, but you kind of got a kick because it was Nick Cage fighting a giant metal spider.
Yeah,
Like,
that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. But anyway, yeah. Okay, Mattel, you do you, buddy. All righty. Let's move on. More. Now, this movie is also important because Bob Iger has to make money. off of the movie that's not making money and this movie, which is going to bomb royally. But I love this article so much. I know we talked about it already, but I have to cover this. Go ahead.
Snow White actress Rachel Zegler, that's not your real name, reveals live action film is changing the meaning of, quote, the fairest of them all.
Okay.
So you're changing
Jesus
English?
Christ.
They've decided
No.
they're going to change the words, the meanings of words now. That's where we're at.
You're way off base. This is so much
God.
juicier than that. It's so juicy. Now, clearly, when this started coming out, she's being a dumb Hollywood actress who's opening her damn mouth, where your job is to actually shut the hell up and do your job. But whatever, she's out there and talking, women, feminists. She's doing her thing, right? And she got a lot of pushback for it. So here's my question. She's changing. She personally is changing the meaning of fairest of them all. Eric, what does she mean?
I mean, she's ugly.
Yeah, well, but what does she mean?
Arrived.
I don't know what she means.
What do you think, Grimlock?
Her Zoloft prescription arrived. That's
fair,
what that
fair.
means.
That's fair. How about you, Thundero?
I have no idea. I don't know I don't want to know how these people think.
It is clear as hell to me that everyone made the comment that I made and other people made that yeah, Gal Gadot's older lady now, but she's so much hotter than you. So much hotter.
Yes.
And the thing is, little baby girl, if you're gonna wear the little push-up top, then wear the push-up top. Don't put a fucking button up underneath it, you dumbass. Either do it or don't. Get off the fucking pot, because you look like an idiot. And this isn't helping because you're not the prettiest girl. But here's the thing. Lots of people made the comment that I made. Yeah, Gal Gadot's way hotter than you. Excuse me. Hold on. It's not the first time it's happened. But everybody made that comment, and it pissed her off. So you know what the fairest of them all means? She is the most fair and just. Yeah. She's the most just of them all. Fair, as in to be fair, fair play. Our boy, Mr. Terrific.
Can I ask the obvious question? Why would the evil queen care about who is the most just person?
Right. No, it's dumb as shit. I know it's dumb as shit. Yeah, because it's all about the pettiness of the stepmom who comes in. Right. It's the whole point of the story. Right. But no, these people are idiots. But more importantly, is that really what they're going after? Or is it just her? Did they get together and have a little panic meeting? Like, okay, how do we cover this? Because you're really not prettier than Gal Gadot. I'm sorry. You're really not. How do we go to fix it? Okay, it's the fairest of them, meaning you're fair. You're like Mr. Terrific from DC Comics. Go with that. That's what happened.
I'm pretty sure that they're getting these lines from the higher ups, because whenever you isolate these actresses the actors and actresses by themselves, they always seem to go completely different of the shit that they're saying. It's like, hell, even going back to the fucking whole Little Mermaid nonsense, and they had an interview with the girl by herself, and she was talking about how Ariel was such an inspiration to her, how much she loved her as a kid, and seeing her made her want to swim. And then you listen to all that other nonsense she was fucking saying and going, wait a minute. If you have a logical brain, you go to that shit don't add up. And it's the same thing with this. This girl,
because she already identified with her, right? Yeah.
This girl probably doesn't mean a single fucking word of what she's saying, but because her check is attached to it, she's gonna go say it.
Yeah, and it's a weird place to be doing this. There are other countries you can make this argument better at. But in America, we grow up as Americans. We don't really distinguish between ourselves so much. This is kind of a new phenomena, really. To be fair, it's always been in the underground with the Democrats, always trying to make race card points. But the rest of us, I mean, we walked down my whole life. I walked down the street. There's a Puerto Rican. There's a black guy. Maybe he's from Haiti. Maybe he's Jamaica, or maybe he's been here for hundreds of years. There's a white German guy over there. Look at the Jew on the corner, etc. This is America. We are inundated with each other all the time from birth. We don't think about it. It isn't the black guy on the corner or the German guy or the Jew guy. It's Bob, Pete, and Jennifer. I'm sorry I made the
I
German
like how
gay.
I like how the Jew was.
yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
the Jew got transgendered there.
Yeah.
But whatever. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We don't think this way. This isn't really the country to be doing this nonsense in, but it's all about politics and trying to take power. But this is such a cope. What's the thing the youngins say? Copium? I love it. Love it. I'm adopting it because this is serious copium because she is now the most just, literally the fairest of all. She's not the fairest of all. She's the fairest of all. See, the intonation was changed. All right. Dumbass. And I understand, Alan, I was sick of Gal Gadot day one, but that doesn't change the
What?
fact that she's way hotter than that. There ain't no arguing. Even with that horrible haircut and the fact she's gotten older, she's still way bangable than this stupid little girl who can't even do the push-up properly. I mean, Jesus, what's wrong with you? Pick.
Chester, you would break Gail. She is tiny.
Yeah.
Who's tiny?
Gail. She's tall, but she's thin as a rail.
Yeah, I've never been very impressed with Gal Gadot. That's you guys.
Who?
No, I'm saying you would break her if you had sex with her.
Oh,
I have to be very blunt, apparently.
Oh, I see. Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. She's Wonder Woman.
Well,
she should be able to take it.
Well, Chester, I will use a very wise man's saying when they say, "Oh, she's going to be the fairest of them all." I will quote the great Thomas Sowell and say, "Compared to what?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if that's gonna be the premise of the fucking movie, how are you gonna do that? Because you're gonna say she's the fairest of them all. If you looked at at least the cartoon, I'm now expert on the shit, but she was the Wicked Witch hated her ass just for existing. And if she's supposed to be the bad girl and if she's supposed to be the villain in the story, she's not gonna give a shit about Snow White doing good deeds.
No, it's dumb. It's just really dumb. I understand that, dude. And of course, the Wicked Witch or the evil sorceress is the stepmother. Snow White is just another stepmother's story. There's a lot of argument whether Cinderella and Snow White are the same story and just kind of got mixed within cultures and became separate over time. It's very possible. The original Cinderella, of course, is a Chinese story. It's not even a European one. It came over the Silk Road. A lot of stories did. They went back and forth, right? But it's kind of irrelevant. This is a cope on a serious level. You little thing. Yeah, you dumb little thing. And the thing is, you remember back when actresses and actors wanted to be loved? You remember back when?
Yep.
Because now all they want you to do is hate them. All they want you to do is just absolutely despise and hate them. What the hell happened? When I was a kid, actors did everything they could to be amiable and be loved because it ensured their career. Think about all the great actors we love and we know shit about. Kurt Russell. Love Kurt Russell. Now he's proven over time that you put him in anything, he's going to do a good job. So he has proven himself with time. However, we love Kurt Russell, but we know shit about Kurt Russell. We don't know anything about him.
Smart man.
That's right. That's exactly my point. We know nothing about him. We just know we love him because he gets up, he says the right thing in the reports, interviews and such like that, and he simply puts himself forward as an everyman and to come watch my movie. Happy to have you, Tom Cruise, and we know he's a little bit of a demon, right? But he doesn't talk about it much in public. And I just these young actresses and actors, but particularly actresses, they have this thought and the idea in their head that they have to be hated. This is how you get fame, is to be hated. We were talking in the beginning of the show about these creepy ass Kardashians, right? Creepy. Just horrible human beings. The shit they say, the shit they do. It's just disgusting. They're disgusting human beings. But yet they're famous for just being famous, and they make
For being on
money.
TV.
Yeah, it's insane, dude.
They're billionaires, Chester.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, and deservedly so.
Well, I
I'm
would
sure
say
they do
deservedly,
great
but they
things
are.
with their money. I'm sure they don't
famous.
waste it
They're
on
famous
dumb
for
and shit.
being whores.
They are famous for being whores. Yes, they are. And look at that. During the time I've been doing this show, I updated to Bitdefender here over the weekend. I was with Iolo, but I switched over to Bitdefender, and they have a automatic ad blocker built into the system. Look at that. In the time I've been doing the show, 71 ads have been blocked. Damn.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All righty. Anyway, moving on. This is just wonderful news. You're going to love this. You guys are going to love this.
That's hilarious. Executive producer Josie Campbell reveals Lois Lane race swapped to Korean in My Adventures with Superman.
Mm-hmm. Because her last name's Lane. Sounds Asian.
That's racist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
pretty racist.
It's purely racist. Yeah.
I mean, that's like, I don't like the term much myself, but if it means anything, that's it. It's right there. That's it. That's what it means right there. That's just stupid. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't, even though we had a Happa playing Superman in the 90s, right, with old Dean Cain, nobody cared. Nobody mentioned it. It wasn't brought up. It wasn't like we decided Clark Kent is now half whatever he is. I think he's half Japanese, half whatever he is. He just happened to be of that. So why
Dean,
are we
yeah.
turning? Yeah, why are we turning Lois Lane, an animated character in this instance? Why is she a Korean of all things? That's weird.
Yeah, no, and you know, it's because of the intent, right? Because we don't actually care when
Yep.
it comes down to it. It's just the intent. Dean Cain was a great Superman, no
He
problem,
was.
right? And he's like a Polynesian guy. But Connie Chang, Chang, what was her name? Connie Chang, was that her name, Eric?
Chang.
Connie
The
Chung?
Korean
Chung.
news lady, Chung.
Connie Chung.
Connie Chung.
Chung.
So maybe she's Chinese, but whatever. The Asian lady. So name another one.
Name another Asian
Another
lady.
Asian lady?
No, news person. Name another Asian news person. Name one. Go ahead.
Oh, I got none. I got
No,
nobody.
you ain't got none.
Yeah.
Because there ain't none.
Yeah.
But
That
you
brought
want
a blank.
to see what they were really after. You want to see what the whole point of this was, because this is where their brains are. They're not thinking about
Yeah.
telling you a good story. This is where their brains are, right there.
Yeah.
We got a Korean
course.
girl. Of course, Jimmy is black. Of course he is, right? So that got to make sure you have one of every color. Lois is going to be the hero. It says My Adventures with Superman. No. It's Superman's Adventures with Lois Lane. We know this is going to be true, and
Well,
I'm
here's
sure
the crazy
Jimmy's going to outshine him too.
Here's the crazy thing about this show. Clark, from what I understand, from what everybody I've seen who's watched, I haven't watched it because I have no interest, but everybody I've seen who's watched it has said Clark and Superman, by and large, they do correctly. They get the spirit of the character right. His characterization's correct. He's Superman. Everybody else is insufferable. Everyone else. Every other character is insufferable and nearly unwatchable. I've even seen, like, typically normie, whatever you want to call them, Twitter accounts say the same thing. The other characters in this show is just, they drag everything down. If it was just about Superman, the show would actually be pretty good from what these people are saying.
Yeah, we can't have that. You can't have that.
Can't have that. No.
Yeah.
No.
Grimlock, I'm going to give you as a teacher, I'm giving you a project, a live project, instant project, Grimlock.
Oh,
And
Oh,
you
Lord.
will be tested at the end, just so you know. I want you to look at this picture right here, and I want you to dissect it, please. Just look at this picture
Uh-oh.
and dissect what's happening in this scene. Go ahead. Okay, ready? Go.
Insufferable faggot and female friend bothering white man. Details
Yes.
at 11.
Yes.
97%? Wow.
Literally
You
just minded
pass.
his business, and look at these weirdos. Look at them.
But I mean, look at it. It's perfect, dude. She's being a bitch. He is gay as hell, dude. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at
Yep.
Jimmy. Not only have they made him black, they've made the black man gay. Why you keep picking on black men like that? You know they don't like it.
That's why.
Yeah, they don't like me. Well, they don't. But I got a question. Why is all these animated shows look one or two ways nowadays?
Yeah, right. Well, I prefer this
The
over the
animation
CalArt stuff, though.
yeah, I mean, I get it's better technically, but you've seen those stupid. I guess they're stupid to me, but apparently a lot of people like them. Those video games where they're like dating sims or whatever the fuck.
Jessup loves those.
Like
Yeah.
they're
Which one
animated
do I
in
like?
that. They're all
Tell me quick.
in that style.
What was that? Twins?
Sims.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Grimlock. Eric was so rude.
Yeah,
there. I apologize.
this is this is animated to people who whack it to their Sims characters.
Do they Sims? It's not. Is that high enough resolution to whack to?
Have you seen these degenerates?
Dude, I play Sims all the time. It's a cartoon thing.
Yes, but you're also married, so you have someone to whack with.
Well, no, I don't. No, it is. I do not get involved in it. Okay, but
the great things about The Sims is it's supremely customizable. You can make it anything you want.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like I said, I'm building a villains lab and going to do the superhero run with the Armageddon mod. I'm going to check it out, see what it's like. No, Sims is great fun, dude. And they keep trying to pour this woke shit on top of you, but it's just like with D&D. Sure, the books now are full of woke crap, but you don't have to follow it. Right? You do whatever you want with it. I mean, this is why I don't play a lot of these games which make me play a single character. Because, I ain't playing your character. I want to make my own. Right? But anyway, we do have an artist with us. Eric, could you please explain the differences in the two type of art that he's stating we see, which he's correct. I know one of them is called the CalArt style, and I hate it. I hate it supremely. And then you do have this style, which is not as good as the animated stuff that came out, like say with the Batman and Young Justice and Superman and Batman and all that kind of stuff back in the 90s. But it's closer than the CalArt stuff. Can you explain what the difference is and why? Why?
Just draw, dude. I don't know. This is more of a cross between the CalArt that and anime, and it's all done digitally, so it's cheap and easy to do.
Oh well, okay, there you go.
And it looks cheap
it's simple to create a Blender model of these characters. Then you just move them the way you want them.
This is one of the advantages that AI art brings, is we might get proper animation again, because they won't have the excuse that it's too expensive.
That's true, especially with the AI thing. Well, so Eric, let me ask a question. Now, I've messed around with Blender, and trying to figure it out and stuff like that. It's got a bit of a learning curve. But
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Anyway, I'm looking at it in interacting with Unity, right? And trying to make like a little video game thingy, right? But what you're telling me is they do the same thing, but they use it for the creation of their animation. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, a lot of people actually use Blender animation. I use it to 3D sculpt. That's what I've been using it for. Or actually, I've been building references for my drawings, like a room. So if I could make just a very simple box with little boxes inside it to represent where tables and stuff are, I can rotate that to any angle I want to know how I want to use it. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a good idea. I didn't think about it that way. But Eric, now I could say this to you, and the other ones, on the Drone Recorder show, may be a little bit sensitive. But to you, I will say this, dude. You should learn AI art. You should learn how to use it, because here's the thing that it can give you, right? Take your art, whatever you're drawing, right? You create it. You course the Blender to give yourself angles and stuff like that. The AI can probably do it quicker, right? To help you out in that way. But what you also can do is take your like all the books you've done before, you could take all of that, you can input that into AI, and you can have the AI clean it and adjust it in whatever way you want. You can control it. You can up the level of your art, or at least the presentation of the scene, or the coloration, or whatever it is you think it's lacking. Of
Right.
course, that's up to you. But I'm just saying, as an artist, you should embrace that shit, dude. You can use that to your benefit.
I've
like a
I've
much-
actually played around with it.
You should.
It's
dude.
like a much better, more efficient version of Photoshop. Like it can do everything
is.
that can do nearly instantaneously. And multiple
Photoshop
times.
is AI now.
I know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. It's
smart.
crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
like if you go back to your very first comic you made, right? And you take that and you run every panel and every page through AI with it, whatever prompts or whatever kind of styling you want to do to it. Maybe you feel there's not enough depth in your background, or whatever it is you want to try to up. You already created the product. That's the easiest way to use the AI, to take imagery, put it in, and adjust it. You should give it a try, dude. You might be shocked.
Like I said, I played around with it. Not inputting in my art. I just was using it for prompts. I was the Midjourney. I was played around with Midjourney right after they announced it for a little bit. And,
Yeah.
I got some really cool images. But right now there's so many people that are getting called out for even using it. Someone on Twitter. Now this guy. Here's the problem. This guy was saying all of his stuff was hand drawn. Tried to enter Eric July's character contest, and he was showing it on Twitter. It had five fingers and 3 thumbs.
Yeah,
and he just
Oh
got
man, he got roasted.
Yeah, and then he ended up taking his ArtStation page down because it was all like that.
right.
He had
Well-
bragged about it, but they have there's a algorithm that will tell you if a piece of art is AI generated or not.
Right. But I mean, that's different. He lied.
Yeah, he lied about it. Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes.
completely different. Now, you take
It's not acceptable for an artist right now. It just
I
not at
get
all.
it. I get it. But I'm telling you, you should study it, because in the long run, it's going to make you better, dude.
It's going to win.
It is. And it's something that you as an artist can utilize better than any of us could. Right?
Yeah.
And, but then again, you with a situation like you take Rabbit, right? Now we have a bunch of artists, and you can give Kima's kind of on the edge of it, but you see this artist, and he's like, oh, well, obviously that's drawn. You can tell, like with Andrew and stuff like that. But with Rabbit, like he just dropped that thing he put into the contest, right? And which he won, right? Dude, there's people going to see that and say, oh, that's AI.
Oh yeah, people
Because
will say
Rabbit
that,
is
'cause, I mean,
sick level, right?
Mhm.
He's sick. You give him a couple days on something, Jesus, it looks like the AI art, but it's not. It's him.
But it
So-
did have all of its thumbs, so
It did have the proper number of thumbs, yeah. But it has trouble with hands. But yeah, no, I really think you artists should embrace it and not be afraid of it, because I think it's just going to help you be better. But I understand.
I want to. Well, initially, they talked about it and it came out. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to use. I mean, just for backgrounds and stuff. And,
Right.
And then when I started playing around with it, then the outrage was it's stealing other people's art to generate art. But if you're using your own art,
It's not even doing that.
It's not
That's
even
just
doing
that's
that
just
anyway.
fake outrage.
Yeah.
and
Not
there
how
was
it
a
works.
big outrage over the Secret Invasion because the entire intro was done through AI.
Right. Well, that's
It's-
just because they're afraid. But I'm just saying, and I know there's going to be a period of that. I'm just saying, I'm talking to you specifically. Ignore that shit quietly and master that, because I've been paying very close attention the past few months to what's going on this AI, and it is accelerating at a rate of, it seems to be about an upgrade every hour. I'm not exaggerating that. That is not hyperbole. It seems
That's
like every
ridiculous. Yeah.
it is, and it seems like they have this thing set up to an hourly update to basically probably the scientists who are checking, because they're basically letting the world do their beta work for them, is what they're doing. It's genius.
Yeah.
But it looks to me like they're setting up and they're checking every hour at progression. And from that, we're getting updates and upgrades. So it's literally advancing in an hour based. Therefore, 3 months ago is like 30 years ago in the way this is accelerating. It's already got to the point that you can go in and those multi-thumbs, if that kid was smart, he would have went in and put a little square around the hand, and it would have fixed it, right? Because it would have
Yeah.
fixed it. You can erase stuff, you can add stuff, you can add on, you can do all kind of stuff. You can put pictures in and then prompt off the pictures. You can adjust the pictures. I have done it, and I don't know shit about art, right?
Well, that's for sure. Yeah.
Well, you know it's true. Well, no, it is true. I don't know shit, dude. But I mean, if I can do it, but it's accelerating. Have you seen the prompt to animation the past few days?
Yep.
No.
Wow, dude. Wow, dude. This was not possible a week ago.
No.
It's
I said it earlier,
you need
man.
to get on board.
We're going to
dude.
get real animation again. We're going to get real Looney Tunes level, maybe even better animation again that they refuse to do because it's too expensive, they say. And it probably is, fair enough. But with the AI, they don't have that argument anymore. If you had a
Yeah.
team of animators who are overseers, effectively, animation overseers, and just make sure the AI is doing what they tell it to do, basically, there's no good reason they couldn't pump that stuff out very quickly and cheaply.
Oh no, and they will, and we will get past the photorealistic stage because right now they're obsessed with it. But after it's been around a while and really pumping at what it gets to, you're going to see people start putting more style on, like say Looney Tunes or cell animation or whatever. You'll see it start branching out. Right now they're all focused on the photorealism, and I get it. But yeah, no, it's. I really think artists should get on board with that because it's only going to help you. Poor Lois, what has happened to you? You're now Korean.
Yes. And unattractive. I don't get it.
Oh,
I don't get why Lois
Superman
is not allowed to be
blushing.
pretty.
Well, she's
anymore.
cute.
Like, why can't?
She's a cute girl.
I don't want cute. I want Lois to be pretty.
Yeah, okay.
She's not allowed to be anymore.
But she's Korean. Asians don't
Does
do
she-
pretty. They do
Does
cute.
she look Korean? I mean, you can't make a Korean, a cartoon look Korean without slanting their eyes, right?
Yeah, that would be one, but they're afraid. But more importantly, what they've done is kind of made her brownish. But here's the thing that's showing that the morons who are making this don't know anything about Korean society whatsoever. Because the Korean and the Japanese and the Chinese, to a point as well, they are so obsessed with being white. You don't even understand. These ladies, when they go outside in the sun, I don't care what time of year it is, they will wear long, full sleeves that even cover their hands and fingers. They wear big, giant hats and umbrellas. They do everything they can to hide from the sun because they don't want a even touch of tan. They want to be pristine white. I mean, porcelain white. And keep in mind, there's Asian people who are way whiter than the white people.
You
Right.
mean like Snow White should be?
Yeah, like Snow White should be. But I mean, just making her a little bit brown, you're actually insulting the Koreans because they would make her whiter than him. Yeah? They don't get it. They don't understand the culture you're appropriating. Because really, to me, she looks like a little Latino girl. Right?
Yeah,
At least she's
she
not
looks-
ugly. At least she's cute. You know?
That's where we're at now. Well, at least she's not ugly. That's where we're at. That's what our standards have become because of what Hollywood has done over the last decade, where they abjectly refuse to use beautiful women in anything, even in animation. Can't even
Why?
have beautiful women in animation.
True, but why is the Korean girl wearing a Japanese clothing? It's weird.
Oh, here you go. Now,
'Cause they
Chester,
don't
didn't you
know any
just
difference.
last week say that they're the same thing anyway?
Yes and no. But because the Koreans wish to distinguish themselves. They are basically from a Japanese colonial situation. They've had mixing coming in. But over that time, they have really tried to distinguish themselves as something different. So it is coming from a little bit of China, a little bit of Japanese root. It is, but they do try to distinguish themselves. But this clothing that they're working out here, it's just in this creator's mind, it's just Asian. It's generally Asian. And it's basically Japanese because they don't understand what Korean looks like. They don't. So it's got a little bit of Japanese in there, a touch of Chinese, but it's not correct. And this person's feet are horrible.
Yes.
Ew.
Uh,
Yeah, that's not good feet. Yeah.
yeah,
No, not at all.
no, but I get it. It's just a clothing sketch. But it's just this is not Korean. Yeah, there's something Korean girl will wear. This is not here. This is a hakama. This is Japanese, you dumbasses. But whatever. It just they don't know what they're doing. It looks like a little Latino girl. Doesn't look anything like a Korean. First of all, a Korean girl would not have short hair like that. In no way would a Korean girl have short hair like that. One of the problems that's going on in Korea is they become way crazy if effeminized. I say,
Oh, wait. It's a Americanized Korean girl.
well, whatever.
She's
Then
prob-
she's not Korean. She's an American girl.
Sh-
So why is she
she's probably-
appropriating culture she knows shit about?
She's probably lesbian too.
But well, I hope not.
Just saying. You know what she is.
But whatever. I need to move on to the last story, which is a little bit happier. But it's just these people are dumb, dude. They're just dumb. All right. Anyway. Ooh.
Cowboy Bebop creator Shinichiro Watanabe makes directorial return with Toonami's jazz sci-fi anime. That's a lot of words with no commas. Lazarus.
Now, Shinichiro
There you go.
put
That's
down
better.
one of the coolest anime of all time in Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. Maybe
Now,
the coolest.
It's ultra cool, and it's also good in many other ways too. But when you use the word cool, it's super cool, right? Now, and it's interesting. His name is Watanabe because Watanabe, he could be from anywhere in Japan, but Watanabe family name is really coming out of the area I live in. It's very heavily centralized in this particular area. And yes, I have studied the demographics of Japan, so fuck off. All right, anyway. Of course I have. Of course I have. All right, anyway.
I believe you.
Yes. But Shinichiro it created something magical in Cowboy Bebop. He's back. He's doing something else. Boy, am I excited. Right?
It looks good too.
It does,
looks
and I'm going to watch the trailer
Yeah.
here to end up today. But here's the thing: let me give you the skinny on what's going on. Right? A doctor came out with a new medicine that will not only make you healthier and younger, it will end aging. Something to this effect. It gets out, becomes very, very popular, and it works. Right? It works, and it's changed the world. And the doctor, right after its release, kind of disappeared. And for years, he was out of sight. And then he came back, and he did some kind of like pirate broadcast. And he explained that yes, you have gotten younger, you've been healed, but my actual intentions was to destroy the disgusting humanity and to get rid of humans. You all have 3 years left to live because, in truth, I have poisoned your DNA. Villain. Right? They put together a team to go find this doctor and try to solve the problem, and that team is called Lazarus. Ooh, that's an interesting premise, huh?
It is interesting.
That could be fun.
It's very interesting. I hope it. See, because the reason why you nailed it right on the head. Cowboy Bebop is beloved even by me. It's probably my favorite anime.
That's super cool.
Is that it's just cool. Like it gets it. He got it. They got it from beginning to end of that story. Spike as a character he just drips cool. He drips young. Well, not young, but right there at the peak of his career, Clint Eastwood cool.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what he drips.
Yeah.
And I mean, he does call it Cowboy Bebop for a reason. That was very heavily inspired by the old westerns. And Spike is that all over the place, but so are all the other characters. Even the goofy character, Ed, is cool because it's Ed. Ed's just cool.
Yeah, Ed is
And
cool. Ed is weird. Ed is confused, but Ed is
if
cool.
this has this level of, and Ed's dad's fucking amazing. One of the best characters we only get to see one time, I think. Awesome character. Anyway, if this has that same level of cool to it, if he can bring that, because that's something that's permeable. It can mean very different things in different contexts. Like, to me personally, I think if you do Superman right, Superman's cool. It has a different meaning in different contexts, but if this has that same level of cool factor, that wow factor, that pull you in, make you want to look at it factor, this could be special. Because we know he can write. We know the man can write all kinds of great, just unbelievable storylines. Cowboy Bebop's storyline is fantastic. I honestly think it might be the best anime of all time. Because it knows when to end it. For one, that's the main reason. He knew when to end his story, and he ended it.
Well, he told the
So
story.
if
That's
this is
Japan,
the same
though.
way,
Yes,
they
they
this is
usually
the same
do that.
way, this could be special. This
It could
be
be.
really special.
It could be. I have my fingers crossed because the dude knows what he's doing. And
Yep.
it's sad about the whole Netflix thing for many, many reasons. But you know, the especially the missed opportunity to have gotten a German to actually play Spike Spiegel as they should have. You know, because the only actual Japanese person in there, and I think she's only half Japanese, is Valentine, right?
I think so.
Yeah, she's like
Yes.
half Japanese.
Yes. The actual character Valentine. Yes, she's half Japanese.
But Spike
Spiegel is German.
German, yeah.
Jed is just some black guy.
No, he's not
I
black.
don't-
You know, don't listen to him. Okay. Anyway, let's watch this. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's
I'm
do it.
ready. Here we go. Okay. CG. Watanabe-san. Give me the intro music. Let me see what you got. Let me see what you got. Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the director of John Wick.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's very CG. My kids are going to hate it. Adult Swim.
Man, Japan found their style and they've just stuck with it, huh?
They have.
This is it. This is us.
So he's an escaped criminal, maybe.
Some future version of what looks like Tokyo.
This is smooth jazz.
That is. Yeah, I like that. Jazz needs to make a comeback in cinema, in all types. Look at that. Oh, that looks beautiful.
Yeah, he's good with that kind of stuff. Reminds me of the Rose Petals.
Yep. That's probably what he was a callback to.
Yeah, we didn't get the intro music though.
No. Nice music though.
It is.
It's
smooth.
going the right direction.
Yeah.
It's going the right direction.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, just because of the person behind it and the team, there is some excitement here. Yes. Okay. It's my sister's birthday. Thank you very much, computer. But yeah, no, I got my fingers crossed, dude. This is 2024 though, so we got to wait. But I can't
Not
wait.
that long.
No, I can't wait
Not
to
that long.
see what intro music we get because Cowboy Bebop is killer, dude. It's killer.
It is.
That's such a great intro. There are a few really good ones, but you know, Cowboy Bebop is.
It might, again, I've said it before, I'll say it right now. I think music is the much underappreciated secret sauce to any great cinematic work, any of it.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
It's time to blow this scene.
Yeah, it's
Put
perfect.
stuff
It's just
together.
perfect.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Just perfect.
Nice big band jazz bebop, of course.
Yep.
Taking it back to the James Bond era, right?
And that's the thing, because if you made something, and they tried, if you made this in the West, they would call it Space Cowboys or something generic.
Yeah.
But he he had the insight to understand what he was, the tone he was going for was that big jazz feeling, that
Yeah.
smoothness.
And this is big band stuff. And I've played in big bands before, like this, stage bands, and the groove you get in and the go you get as a group, it's really cool, dude.
I bet.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you mean Valentine's not frumpy? Wait a minute.
No.
Huh.
I love the drop here. Listen to the drop.
Here it comes. Oh,
It's so killer, dude. It's so killer. It's so killer. You know, it's another one really good. Has a really good opening, by the way. It's very different, but since we're talking about great intros, because I can't wait to
Yep.
see what he's going to do with Lazarus, though. Oh, I got my fingers crossed. Let's see here. Maybe now this song is very popular in Japan. You see men's choirs and things will do it. It's pretty impressive. But let me go with the original here. I think this is it. This is a Japanese version, not the American one.
yeah.
It's so badass when they get into it, dude. It's so killer. Let's look at this. This is the Japanese Navy band. Yeah, no, I don't want your chrome. No chrome.
宇宙戦艦ヤマトの歴代の音楽から無限に広がる大宇宙宇宙戦艦ヤマト新コスモタイガータイガヤマトの
Yes, yes, yes.
4曲を組み
Yes,
立て
yes.
仕立てでお届けいたします、
はい、OK。
名付けて宇宙戦艦ヤマト横浜開港祭207組曲
No, why? I don't want it. No, this is not. No. Anyway, I'll stop. No, this guy right here. But anyway, you know what I mean. I'm not going to get into it. But I'm really looking forward to this. I really hope it doesn't suck. I hope that the West didn't get its fingers in it, and I really hope the theme song is wicked badass. And he understands the power of it. So we'll wait and see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he just
That-
gave us
that
some little
third-
background, happy, jazz. Yeah.
That third one is the one we should be most concerned about. Did these faggots over here get their greasy mitts on it?
Oh no, that's the thing to worry about. No, it absolutely is. Yes. I know. Yeah.
Well,
but
the good news is you have the director of John Wick who knows all about the rule of cool, and obviously, I would say the man. He might not have created it, but he definitely is the master of it. The creator of Cowboy Bebop, the rule of cool. So, this is one of the few things that Netflix has put out in years that I'm actually looking forward to because I
Yeah.
want to see if he's still got the sauce. Because he might not.
yeah,
might not.
might not. He might not. But boy, I mean, just the idea of a new, jazzy sci-fi from Watanabe-san, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Now, now I'm kind of curious because you were very excited about the new iteration of Stampede there, and how did that turn out? Because that story, I mean, I don't want to give too many spoilers if you guys haven't
Oh.
watched it, but
Trigun.
Trigun,
Gotcha.
yeah. But
Yeah,
in that story, he's the hero's like a living plant thingy.
Yeah,
and he's
that's right.
immortal. But whatever. It's really weird. It's super Japanese weird, but yet it was
Yes.
very popular. And they just came out with a new iteration. How did you like it?
I didn't see it.
Oh, you haven't
It's on
seen it?
Netflix. Don't watch it.
Oh,
Yep. I probably will eventually just pirate it, but I've never watched it. And
Well,
the
just go
main
to
reason I
Finland.
didn't, the main reason I didn't is because I don't like the animation style. One of the things about the first one it had that rugged animation style to it because it was old for one,
Hmm.
and two, it was set. I think it was intentional, right? Because of the setting. This
Hmm.
one was too clean, right? It just looks too clean, too modern. I don't know. It just didn't appeal to me. Plus the overall synopsis, I'm like, we don't need
Well,
this.
well,
We don't
because
need
the
this at
fact
all.
that he doesn't age, it could be set at any time. And of course,
Yes.
he has his brother, big air quotes, that is the antagonist. I would assume. But the thing about Trigon is it's set on an alien planet. They have this. Humans have this kind of, or people have this kind of terraforming technology, but it's kind of failed. And the planet is desperate for water. Water is a big theme in it. And people are just trying to hang on to survive. And of course, there's a lot of banditry, and it has a very old Wild West feel to it,
Yes.
right? But there's a lot of weird Japanese thinking in the back of it, right?
Yeah.
It's really bizarre, but cool at the same time. So
Yeah. No. The problem with that story is it wasn't completed in the original anime because the actual manga continued far past what we get in the anime.
yeah,
So they completed what they had, but they didn't get a chance to finally actually finish it. And I have no faith in anything Netflix touches ever to be faithful to anything other than their agenda, which is the main point of contention, like Grimlock said, for this year. Right? I'm very worried. I want this to be really, really good because obviously he's one of my favorite creators of all time. And after the debacle that was the live action Cowboy Bebop,
that was
this
bad.
almost seems like a apology from Netflix that they gave him this basically.
Well, he was
Because
not happy with that.
he was not happy. He was very polite, as he is Japanese, but he was not happy. And he shouldn't have been, because it was abysmal. And nobody liked it. Anybody who says they liked it is lying. Nobody liked it. It was bad. And it wasn't even close to in the spirit of the original. So I think this might be a little bit of that. There might be a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? A little apology, basically, where they're just like they're trying to make recompense a little bit for what they allowed to happen and what they created.
Such a train
And
wreck.
maybe because of that they're hands off and they're going to let him do what he does. Him and Stileski.
And I'm still wondering why that lady was going on about tissue paper up her coochie. Anybody get that yet?
Still don't know.
Yeah.
No,
Still
stupid.
don't know.
What?
I still don't understand why we couldn't just have a sexy Miss Valentine. That would have solved a lot of the problems right there. Just the sex appeal.
Well, the
And
thing
not a 75-year-old man playing Spike. That was weird. Like,
that
he
was
way too old.
weird, and he was, it's not Spike at all. But the
No.
girl playing Valentine was the noisy one. And the funny thing is, she was going on about, well, if I wore something tight and skimpy, it would have disappeared into all my crevices. Well, ma'am, you don't have many crevices. Matter of fact, you're kind of like a rectangle. There's not much shape to you at all. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. But she was very upset that people didn't find her super hot, sexy, mega sexy, not realizing she was hired because she was playing Jane. See, she didn't get it. She didn't catch that memo that they actually cast you because you're not attractive, because men are not allowed to look at pretty women anymore, ma'am, and you were cast for that purpose. And she didn't get the memo.
Porn. Porn's fine for some reason.
Porn?
You can watch all the porn you want. It's all over the internet. It's free even. Free porn everywhere.
Yeah, how come they don't? That's a good point. How come they don't push back against that? Eric will know. Eric, tell us about porn.
Well, what would you like to know, Chester?
I don't know much. We've figured out very clearly. I know two and a half names. I know the lady there. I know the dude with the big dick that died from AIDS, and I know the Mexican guy, the fat Mexican guy.
Oh, Tracy Lords, John Holmes, and the Hedgehog.
Who's the fat Mexican guy?
Fat Mexican guy.
I don't know.
Ugly guy. It's Cheech's
Oh.
ugly cousin.
He's in jail now, I think.
It
Ron
is
Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy. Rape or sexual assault, whatever. Same
Oh,
difference.
well, of course, I'm sure. But
yeah.
you know, that's my extent of knowledge. Literally. But whatever. It is weird. They know the progressives don't push against porn. You'd think they would.
No, they in fact push for porn, while at the same time pushing against any sexuality of positive nature in anything else. It's so weird.
It is
the
weird.
dichotomy there. It's very weird.
It's very weird. Anyway, it is time. I got to do a little bit of prep before I go to work today. I have my Greek classes again. I still can't believe I'm teaching Greek. God, it's so weird. I didn't sign up for that, Thundero.
You did though. Literally, you had
No, I
to. Or else
didn't.
you wouldn't be teaching
I'm
it.
an anthropology cuneiform teacher. What the hell?
At some point, something was signed by you to get these people to give you money to teach them Greek.
No,
That had to have happened.
no, the Japanese just know my weakness. My weakness is I have a hard time saying no.
Yep.
Yeah,
So verbal contract. Got it.
Yeah.
They said no. They said we give him Sex Mountain. You teach us Greek.
It's so bizarre, Grimlock. It's so bizarre. Because, you know, I can certainly teach academic Greek. I do at a university level. But I don't speak Greek, you know.
See, every time you say you're teaching Greek, I think of something else because that is slang for anal sex.
Why?
I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but it is, and I'm going to go
I
teach
want to
some
remind
Greek. I'm
everybody.
like, okay.
I want to remind everybody
This
listening to my
picture-
voice that Chester is the only
Smiling
one of us
businessman.
here who has worked in the sex industry. By the way.
It's true.
I know.
12 years. 12 years I've worked in the sex industry, yeah. Yeah. That is true. And that's probably why I'm so disillusioned with it, because they are just horrible people. But nevertheless, I made money. And any of you aspiring bouncers out there, work in the strip club, dude, you make way more money. Way more money.
And probably get lots more pussy if you'd like.
If you like, but that gets old quick. Let me tell you. That gets old quick, dude. It really, really does.
Well, especially from strippers because you might catch something.
Well,
a
that's
lot of
not
something.
even that. They're just insufferable. My God, they're whine and whinge about everything all the time, dude. Constant. Yeah, no, I know that, but this is an extra special level of it. They're the most whiny, whingy people I've ever met in my life. They bitch about everything constantly. And backstage, I can't tell you how many times backstage I've literally had to go grab one of them and just carry him out of the room, throw him on my shoulder, and carry him out because they're cat fighting and bitching against with each other constantly, dude. And it's the easiest solution. You can't talk to them. You can't talk to them. They ain't hearing it. They're just going to bitch. And as soon as you come in, they're going to put you between them and get more verbally violent because now you're there and you're a wall. The only solution is just pick one of them, throw her on your damn shoulder, and take her out of the room, which I have done many frickin' times.
Did you take her to somewhere private or?
Yeah, where'd you take her? That's what I was going to ask.
Usually I take them up to because VIP.
Chester's Mountain.
No, but the VIP lounges are rarely full. I usually take them upstairs and just throw them on a couch and say, "Don't leave this room," and I walk out.
Uh-huh. His wife must be nearby. That's
No,
all.
no.
Mhm. He was over there, Ric Flair, and it telling him, you know, you're not going to Space Mountain, you're going
baby.
to Busby's Mountain.
No, yeah. But no. When I was younger, I played around the strippers, but like I said, I got over that.
Because they're insufferable.
They are.
Even little Chester was like, I can't with these bitches anymore.
I can't. I cannot. But they are quite insufferable. Anyway, I gotta go. What am I doing? Eric,
You're
would you like
talking
to
about
see?
screwing
Banging
whores.
strippers.
That's what
That's
you're
fair.
doing.
That's fair. But I mean, how many people have experience with that here, other than me?
Not me. I have no interest in banging strippers. I'll leave that to you.
Sleeping
Eric?
with a stripper?
Yeah.
Maybe.
All righty.
Degenerates, the both of you.
Generous. Well, dude, I remember this one girl. Her name was Lisa. She was a blonde. She
Oh.
was slap, freaking crazy bitch, right? But
Yeah.
she had this sculpted body. My God, dude. And she could bend in the most amazing ways, and she enjoyed it.
They usually do.
Anyway, Eric, go ahead.
I really got nothing. Just tune in Thursday night to catch us on Drawn Quartered Fan Edition, and we're doing something. I don't remember what.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I really enjoyed talking to Luke, man. That was a good conversation.
Yeah, that was great. I was, yeah, that really was, because we both knew that one creator that's doing a book right now. It was good to get his insight on it.
Yeah, that was cool. Alrighty, Grimlock.
Shoot, August is just around the corner. It's crazy. We're going to get to watch Disney fail some more going into the end of the year.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride, folks.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. All right. Well, thank you all very much. We'll see you next week. And of course, as Eric has said, we do have Drawn and Quartered Ultimate Edition this week coming up. Come check that out. It's always fun. And of course, in 2 days, I am doing, I'm actually playing. Puffin is running his Heroes Call. So come on back for that if that's your shtick. We'll see you next week, which we'll talk about more of the inanity of Hollywood, which is always fun. Thundero,
Always.
take us out of here.
Always and forever. Chester, we were talking about how degenerate you are.
Yeah, me.
And I'm going to go with this one. Yeah, you specifically. I'm going to go with this one. I think it fits. Good men can have done bad things and still be good men. Goodness is not something you did or something you are. Good is what you do. Virtue is not passive. Do good. Be good.
Okay, so I should write down don't diddle strippers anymore.
Yeah. Stay away from the whores. The hooers.
The whore.
As Danny
whores.
DeVito
Okay, I've
says.
written it down.
The
I've written
whores.
it down.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's your
They're not
bed.
Yeah.
Later, everybody.